What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 349. It is another fine Sunday. Our Thai guy man is back in the house. We got a lot of games to talk about. We got a couple showcases. And of course, you know I'm pumped for Battlefield 6 that we're going to touch on as a big topic this week, too. So let's go ahead and get into it. My man, the regular, you know him as the Lawman. Hoglaw, how we doing, my friend?
I just like being the regular. How many years have I been a co-host on this show now? I am very regular, as it turns out.
Every week you just show up. It's wild. Yeah. You doing all right?
I am. It's good morning.
Good. Hogue and I were joking before you got into the studio, Travis, that once you pass 40, getting a good night's sleep without waking up in the middle of the night is a good night. That's all it takes to qualify at that point.
That makes me sad.
That's the random number generator I play with, is how will I feel when I wake up?
So what are you waking up for? Is it because you have to use the bathroom?
Or I would love an answer to that question. We don't have
your body says 3 a.m. is the right time some nights.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like an old person waking up and sitting on your front porch and being like, time to judge all the youngsters.
I will tell you, I got up at 5 a.m. yesterday, which was a Saturday, of course, since we're taping on a Sunday. And I don't know why, just fully up. Not like drowsy and I should go back to sleep. Just now is the time. I'm up. And it really throws your day when at like 2:30 in the afternoon, you're like, are we wrapping this up soon? No? Okay.
Yeah, it sucks. And usually my mind just starts racing. Like you wake up and it's like every thought you had that whole week just comes into your head. And it's like, okay, I'm not going back to sleep.
Well, I'm wired to run through what I have to do that day, like the whole work day. So I think one of the reasons I woke up at 5 a.m. yesterday was that I ran through Monday. And then you do feel like you get a little treat when your brain calms down. It's like, it's not Monday, it's Saturday. Chill out. We don't have anything on our list that we need to hit from that we just ran down. So that's nice, but it still means that you kind of played out your Monday really early in the morning on Saturday. So
yeah, prepare, Travis. It's coming.
If you say so.
But our Thai guy is back. He was under some sort of NDA that he's going to tell us about right now. Travis, you're frozen, man.
I know. Just waiting for the moment to pass.
How long can Travis pretend that his feed is frozen?
Oh man. It's pretty good, honestly. That's pretty frozen. Yeah. How was how was last week, my friend? Was the event whatever it was? It's a good trip.
It was good. Yeah. Happy to be back. I did a bunch of reviews. Y'all probably saw me online a lot the past couple weeks. I was posting stuff. It was nice. Good. Now I'm ready for August, which has almost no games coming out. I don't know if you guys know this.
That's not my experience so far. Looking at my pre-order.
What do you got? What do you got going on? Tell me what's on there.
I think I have Mafia. Okay. Borderlands 4.
No. September. Already crossed the line.
These are the ones that are on my list. So, Lost Soul aside.
Nope, delayed.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
It's delayed. It's delayed. It's going on. I think I was supposed to preview it, and it got pushed.
I thought there was more coming in August for sure.
You might be making an announcement here, Travis.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm not making an announcement. The only game I think I'm reviewing in August is House of the Dead 2 remake. It's pretty quiet. It's a quiet month.
Hellblade 2 on PS5. Yeah.
That's not really. That doesn't count.
Wukong on Xbox. We do get Gears at the end of the month. You get Helldivers on Xbox and Gears on PlayStation, right?
Those are redos. I don't count them.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, I'm looking at the Lost Soul Aside trailer from yesterday that says August 29th.
Lost Soul Aside. Is this the one I was supposed to preview?
Metal Gear Solid Delta, August 28th. Shinobi Art of Vengeance on the 29th.
Believe me, I would not be remotely surprised if it were delayed. I just don't know that anybody has said it is.
Let me see. I mean, It's quite possible I'm thinking of a different game that has the words "Lost Soul" in it because we.
Don says Travis is making an announcement unless he says it was originally delayed to August, so it was something else.
Oh,
it was in like
possible.
May.
Okay.
Let's see. I all I know is I was supposed to preview a game with. Oh, that's how I'll find it. One sec. Just keep.
Don't
talking.
worry. By the way, you might want to let IGN know that it's Madden 26 releasing this year, not 25. That's what they have listed.
I mean, we might want to tell EA that this whole "it's the next year" thing is ridiculous.
Might have been an intentional dig.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But anyway, we are here. We got a lot to talk about today in terms of games. A lot of games to talk about.
Oh, this is Lost Soul aside, dude. This game got. I mean, maybe I am announcing something. I'm looking at our CMS and it's like this game got delayed. I was supposed to do a preview for it on July 22nd, and then that didn't happen at all. So I think this. I don't know if it's been
announced here
yet.
First. Breaking news.
I mean, look. I'm just telling you what I know about this game, which is that I'm not covering it, and I was supposed to. So I don't know if that's news. That's news. I'm not under embargo or anything. I'm just telling you what happened.
No, and there's been rumblings that there's not enough marketing and there's not enough things going on to suggest that it's actually coming out on the 29th. And obviously, this game has been delayed a number of times, but as of right this second, from a trailer from yesterday, the date is on the trailer and it says August 29th.
Okay. Well, I was supposed to go to Sony Studio. I was supposed to drive down there, down the peninsula, hang out with the team, and that got rescheduled indefinitely. And then so I don't know. I would not be surprised if it was delayed.
Nor would I.
Okay.
All I know is I'm not covering it this month. So
well, yeah,
Either way, Travis is out.
Yeah, I'm glad that August isn't too bad because once September hits, all hell breaks loose in terms of game releases. So
I also know nothing about that game, by the way. Is it a Souls-like?
No, it's an action.
Hope was looking forward to it. It's not.
It's not like the thing I'm looking forward to most in the world, but it was kind of a fan passion project based off of what Final Fantasy 15 was originally going to be when it was Final Fantasy 13 Versus. Okay. So it's some kind of weird action thing.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyway, moving on. We've got a lot of reviews to talk about. So we're going to talk about Grounded 2, Tales of the Shire, Wildgate, Ninja Gaiden, Ragebound, follow up on Destiny 2. Travis has another preview to discuss with us as well. And like I said, we're going to hit Battlefield 6, Nintendo Direct, and THQ Showcase as well. But before we do all that, let's get caught up on our super chats from our community here and let's start with Mr. Googleman kicking us off as always.
Googleman81, 10 euro super chat. Sinners deserves an Oscar for best score, and I wrote a script for Mac OS that improves performance in general, and on GeForce Now. It's on my GitHub. Very cool.
Well, there you go.
Everybody loves a good GitHub macro. Enjoy.
Oscar for Mac that improves performance on GeForce Now through Mac OS. Okay. Sounds like you're making gaming complicated, Googleman, but I appreciate the effort.
Well, it's on Mac, so is it gaming?
Oh, he said and GeForce Now, unless he's talking about two separate things. He said it's for the OS, though, so I was assuming. But regardless, that's pretty cool.
I can't program my OS.
Sinners is very good.
Sinners is good. I love Ryan Coogler's stuff. Yeah. It's not my favorite in his portfolio, but it is good. You should check it out if you like.
What other movies has he done?
Well, he did Black Panther, he did Creed, he did Fruitvale Station. Basically everything you can think about that Michael B. Jordan is in. Like, he's his guy.
Okay, Fahrenheit. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Googleman, you're awesome. Thank you, as always. Look who's back in the house. Vintage Willow, 5-season gaming memberships. Willow, good to see you, she says. Tour de France takes up all of her July screen time. Hey, if you love it, you love it. I hope it was good.
Weird.
I did not check out the Tour de France at all this year, so I don't even know where that sits in terms of like who are the top cyclists nowadays.
Are we supposed to say it as de France? Is that how we're supposed to say it? Do I sound like super Midwestern American if I say Tour de France?
I think they're both acceptable.
I think
they're acceptable. I think when you hear people say it's a Tour de France, and obviously in Europe it would be more like that, but here Tour de France.
As a very wise English guru once told me,
I don't think it matters.
There's no right and wrong, Hogue. There's only standard and non-standard.
Language is descriptive and not prescriptive. I say that a lot. I understand that, but in terms of pronunciation, I just don't know what the preferred term is because this is kind of a trademarked concept. It's not just a phrase off the shelf.
I think you can say either one.
Okay.
They won't
If
sue
you don't
you.
say it correctly, I'm going to get offended. I will
I'm
say
not
that.
thinking that I would be sued. I was just trying to give the proper
Maybe you should be.
respect to the bicycle race.
Regardless, Willow, thank you. Good to see you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, as always. Good to have you back here with us live. Mr. Don Lionheart's here.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Good morning, all. Been playing Outer Worlds DLC to prep for 2. Love
Cool.
the RPG-ness. Prefer Avowed setting. Travis, have you played Summer Pockets? Thoughts? I have not played Summer Pockets. What is this game?
I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking of something where you have to cook Hot Pockets in an indie time-saving type game.
Shows where our minds go, Ho, because that's what you
thought.
thought.
It's a visual novel.
I thought it was playing pool on some tropical location.
Well, see, we are
be
cutting
willing
to our
bet,
brand.
Just looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and guess my wife has played this game. So I'll ask her about it.
Japanese visual novel. It came out in 2018, so it's not new.
Japanese visual novel. It's been out for a few years. Chances are she has played it.
All right.
These look like very anime ladies. So
Don also follows up with a second thought.
$2 super chat. Hashtag make Bitcast a 3 or 4 hour podcast.
He's
Hashtag
extended his
keep
request.
Hogue alive. These are contradictory hashtags, I think.
Yes, Don was on Twitter and he says, make Bitcast a 3 hour podcast. And I responded to him and said, you're trying to kill me. Travis pops in out of nowhere. He's not tweeting too often and says, aren't we all? Or something along those lines. It was just a delightful, warms your heart kind of interaction with Don and Travis.
Don and I teaming up to kill Hogue. It's a plot of a heist movie, I think. I don't know.
Yes, against a
I'm
very
waiting
weak
for that
target.
to hit streaming. Honestly,
who, if he records a podcast for too long, might just collapse at his desk.
Yeah.
Very exciting film.
Starts playing the funk line, and we're like, here's the plan. We're going to make him, we're going to yank him to a podcast. Don, you keep super chatting every single week.
Super chat right at the end of every show.
It does like a bunch of like smash cuts of us like executing the plan. I'm wearing a mustache.
Oh, it's like hackers?
Pushing a, yeah, it's like, you got to do the.
Don is spinning around in a phone booth with a laptop.
That's right, yeah. It's just spending money on super chats. It's like the world's dumbest plan.
Oh my God. Thank you all. Appreciate it. I also want to give a big shout out to Debbie Dubs. I forgot to last week. She came into one of our other videos that we were doing on Season Gaming and chatted 5 SG memberships at the time. So shout out to Debbie W, one of our regulars over here. So thank you, Debbie, again. We did get a follow-up last week. Travis wasn't here and we didn't know the answer, but someone, and I totally forgot we even said it, Hogue, but someone said, yes, Alaska does have its own time zone. It sits between Pacific time zone and Hawaii. So
yeah, no, I asked the question because it's like, is it more westerly? So does it have its own time zone?
It is. It's a huge state. I've been to Alaska. Have you guys been?
I don't know.
It's the only state I have not been to.
Dang. I'm missing 2. I've been to 48 states, but Alaska is one I've been to, and it is a beautiful state. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a big piece of land. Yeah. So it does look beautiful. I'd like to go sometime. I just don't know why I would go up there, but
I went for fishing.
I mean, I don't know.
A long time ago.
Canada's there. It's closer. Like, I just go to Canada.
So is Russia.
I don't think Russia is closer.
Just go to Chernobyl, Siberia.
Russia's closer.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to check on that one, but I'm not sure.
It's pretty close. You'd see it from their houses.
Wow, that's a throwback.
Yep. You know that you're at the right podcast when you're getting very topical and timely Sarah Palin references. Welcome.
By the way, this one. This one was called out on our Discord, and I popped it in here just for Travis's benefit. Evidence of Hogue being
there
pinky
it
out.
is.
Yeah,
There
we
it
haven't
You did that
captured on
just for
video.
purposes of this conversation, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And look at
yeah.
it, eyes closed with
I
a
didn't
sense
do
of
this.
superiority.
This was posted by Stingray, one of our regulars in the Discord
Nice.
and in the community. So he wanted to make sure that we captured, you are going pinky out here. So
Hey, you know what?
Eyes closed, pinky out. Look at that, dude. Look at that superior, that
That's
holier
just-
than thou face.
Yes, in my
crazy.
ball cap and my travel mug.
Ball cap's just to distract you from your elitism. We all know where you're at, dude.
Mhm.
We all know what side of the war you're on.
Oh my god. And of course we got Tide's Picks kicking us off as well. We are headed to the Shire this week, boys.
Oh no, we got stuck there, Travis.
Yeah, I
There you go.
don't wish this upon anyone. This is giving
I
me
look
PTSD.
adorable.
Honestly, we all look pretty adorable.
I look a little creepy. I don't know. You guys look good.
I like my little tie.
I don't know. I kind of
Yeah.
want you to start rocking the suspenders, Zanes, or
That'd be
braces, as they say in the Shire.
Yeah.
That's right.
Braces?
Hmm.
Yeah, braces.
Is that what they call them? Really?
At least
Yeah.
in the costuming your Hobbit section, they call the suspenders braces. Yes.
Oh,
I believe
okay.
braces is the name for suspenders that go with tuxedos. Because suspenders are not the. I had somebody explain this to me in a haberdashery or something about how the suspenders that go with tuxedos are not called suspenders; they're called braces. So I think maybe they're the fancier version.
All right.
I
I
just
don't
like
have a
that-
headset on, so that's a start.
I like that the AI gave me like an Alan Wake professor's coat here.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
I'm excited
You
about
need
this
one.
whole look.
You guys
It's
look
good.
nice.
No, yeah, I like your folded up jeans. Like they're too long. Maybe you
Both of you
killed
have folded
somebody
up
and took
pants
their-
there, you weirdos.
Or mine are folded up too.
Yep.
No, I think mine are just.
Who among us does not cuff the bottom of their jeans?
I mean, I've
Me.
never worn jeans, so probably me.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. You see what I deal with every week?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Travis does not have great jeans, American Eagle.
He does not. No, honestly, you could do a commercial about that. Close-ups on my just destitute body and face.
Oh
Does
man.
not have good jeans.
Ty, thank you as always. Appreciate it. And we will talk about Tales of the Shire shortly here. So
Yeah.
Sure will.
We've threatened you aptly.
yes. All right. Let's get into it. Well, why don't we just start there? It's a good segue. It's one of the games
Let's start
we
with
gotta talk
Tales of the
about anyway.
Shire. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Travis, you reviewed it. You
Sure
gave
did.
it a 4, which led to some really fun conversations
You did,
on
yeah.
social media. And I know, Hogue, you said you've been playing it too, and you've been playing what is pretty widely reported from what I've seen. I haven't touched the game, but the worst version of it. So, how we doing here, boys?
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of my story, I read Travis's review, went through it all. He has warnings and klaxons and everything else in that review. And I said to myself, you know what? I like the Shire. How bad could it be? Let's give that a run. And it is to my great disappointment that I am here on the Bitcast today to say to you all, Travis was right. Like, there's no reason that this game should be as non-entertaining as it is. Like, there's just no reason. If you think about a cozy life sim type game taking place as a hobbit in the Shire, and you're cooking for your hobbit friends, and you're decorating your hobbit hole, it really should just have some pretty clear hooks and game loops that have been designed around every cozy game for at least a decade now, if not longer. And they throw all that away to do this kind of inert non-game. And it really offends me, honestly. This is one of those where I take flyers on all sorts of games. You know that. That's where the Hoax Notes comes from. But I am very rarely just absolutely, that doesn't work. That's not a game. How did it get off the whiteboard? As I am with Tales of the Shire. And then, yes, you want to throw on that it's the Switch version. It performs fine as of now. There are lots of reports of reviews and crashes and things. I haven't had a single one of those. But the main problem is, as I just described, there's no real gameplay hook for anything. The main reward system is kind of changing things within your Hobbit hole, decorating it, all these aesthetic rewards. And this game barely looks like the Shire, barely looks like Hobbiton or Bywater as it is in this case. And so every single aesthetic reward is just a muddy kind of non-textured or barely textured thing that you don't want. So what limited hooks there are just don't drive you at all. And like I bought it this week and it's basically already off the top 10 like most recently played games on your Switch because it's just super boring. And yeah, I'm going to stop there. Travis, you actually reviewed this professionally and aren't just speaking into the mic about your feelings on Tales of the Shire. So what do you think?
Yeah, so I was very excited for this game. A lot of people know I love cozy games. I've reviewed a ton of cozy games in recent years.
No, apparently you don't know anything about cozy games, Travis.
Yes.
That's what I read online.
Yeah, there were several aspersions about me not being a real cozy gamer and or not finishing the game. I love,
by the way, that there's a block of people saying you're not a hardcore enough cozy gamer.
Well, I will say the cozy community seems to be on Blue Sky, and they are very passionate, and they are often defensive about people not getting it. Like people coming in and just being like, "Oh, I play shooters and Souls-likes, and I think your game is boring." And my review, if you don't know my preferences as a reviewer, certainly reads like somebody who just has it out for, cozy games. But unfortunately, I think there are probably a lot of people who did not heed my warning, Hogue, such as yourself, and bought this game and probably realized in playing it that, I did play this whole game. I did beat it. I got to the end. I played this game for almost 30 hours. My wife,
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, you should not. It actually gets worse the longer you play it, especially in the technical department. But my wife, who adores cozy games, loves the Shire. It's her favorite part of Lord of the Rings. She wants to watch just the first 15 minutes of Fellowship, basically. She did not last an hour in this game. She logged off in, I think, about 30 minutes, and she did not come back. I then had to play the game for 27, 28 hours by myself. The problem with this game, aside from its technical issues, which are severe, aside from its technical issues, are really what Hogue said. It has no hook to it. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that all cozy games? You kind of just go around and you garden and you farm. Totally. That is a cozy game thing. But the thing about cozy games is that they have hidden depth to them. The first hour of the game, you're kind of confused why you're playing it. You're like, I don't really get it. And then something clicks and you realize that it has depth to it. The fishing mini game unlocks and gets more advanced, and the building and there's just all these layers that kind of get added that become really addictive. Animal Crossing is extremely good at this, where the first couple hours you're just like, I don't really get why I'm doing these chores, and then it just sort of snowballs and you can't put it down. And Hobbit, the Tales of the Shire, the Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings game, the full title, does not have that. It is basically, it is sort of like a person who heard of what cozy games are and tried to like emulate that without understanding the actual reason that people play these games. And it feels to me, unfortunately, like yet another Lord of the Rings IP cash grab with a very minimal effort put into it. And that is both on the gameplay front and on the technical performance front, which Hogue is playing the Switch version. It is certainly the Switch version I played that version as well. It is certainly the worst looking version, but it actually doesn't have a lot of the same crashes and frame rate
I don't have
issues.
any technical faults. It just is ugly all the time.
It's just super ugly, but the offset is that it's ugly and it runs all right. Granted, I'm assuming you're playing the Switch 1 version of the game on the Switch 2.
I am.
Correct? Which that one runs better. If you're playing the Switch 1 version on the Switch 1, then it looks ugly and has technical issues. So I played it on the Switch 1. I played it on the Switch 2, which runs better, but looks absolutely devastatingly bad. It looks terrible on that platform, especially since you know what the Switch 2 can do by playing other games. And then on PC, it looks significantly better, but then you've got frame rate hitching like constantly. I was running it on my very high-end PC, and the game should not run this bad. Like, it's like miraculously...
Doesn't even look like a demanding game.
It is not a demanding game. It has a tiny map and almost no game mechanics in it. There's no reason it should run like that. and it runs really terribly, and then it has crashes. And if you have played this game, like, you can hard save, but you often forget to, or at least I do, and there's like no reason to, because it auto saves at the end of every day. But you're playing for 30 minutes and then the game crashes at the end of the day when you try to have a meal, and the game seems to crash a lot at that point, and then you have to repeat the entire day. This game's already very mind-numbingly boring, so when you have to repeat days multiple times, it really, really hurts. So I just had a really bad experience with this game. I had high hopes for it. I love cozy games. Anybody who knows me knows I'm an enormous Tolkien nerd, so I was very excited to play this game, and it just
and
really
there is some
bummed
cute
me out.
writing. There's no voice acting.
I did put that in my
cute
review.
writing.
It has some funny jokes. It has like just bits that play on like how naive and dim some of the hobbits are, and that's sort of like the joke throughout, is hobbits just have no understanding of the way the world works, or they debate and argue about really dumb stuff. I do wish there were more noises coming out of the characters, and I don't mean full voice acting, but this game basically has a non-existent sound design. Like, it's silent most of the time. It is. In Lord of the Rings, it's silent. Like known for its music, and it's like silent. It's like no noises. No, like,
themes playing while you're running around or anything.
No, there are, but they're the very thinnest kind of almost Breath of the Wild plinky songs occasionally, and then you'll remember that for the most part you're running around in silence. But they didn't even add
so weird.
Yeah, you run around in silence, and it doesn't really have sound effects. And when you talk to players, in other games, like, even if they don't have voice acting, you'll get get noise from it. It'll be like, nope, no noise. Just
it really honestly,
it's just like speech bubbles.
Yeah, it really feels like you're going insane the longer you play it. It feels very isolating, and I mean, I did a whole section about the sound design that got cut because it was just me being unnecessarily mean to this game. But like, the sound design is really, really a critical miss on this one. It just feels really bad. It's hard to describe unless you play it, but it's just devoid of any sound design.
It feels like the sounds aren't firing properly. Like when you used to play a 90s CD game and one of the
they would like be delayed,
scratched.
Yeah.
It feels like it's not firing properly until you're like, no, I think that's the design. But it's so sparse and thin, and it's just weird.
I went into my settings because a lot of times when I record footage, I have to turn the music off, because if you're trying to cut it into a video, the music screws with an editor.
Shows where the cuts are.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh man, I am maybe I turned the music off and forgot. I did not. I never turned the music off for this game. I was just recording it normally, and then my editor messaged me, and they were like, "This is such a hard game to do sound ups for." Because in reviews, you're supposed to do sound up where you'd be like, "Let me showcase this," and then you turn the sound on so they can hear a little bit of the game. And she was like, "I cannot find any places to do that. Like, all it would show is just complete silence." She was like, "This is crazy."
So it's a bad game, badly designed. It looks bad, and it doesn't feel like the Shire, because it doesn't hit the musical sound or any other points you'd want to hit out of this. It's a complete miss on what seems to be something that you could hit pretty easily. Like, I'm not saying that you should just clone games, but it feels like you could pull out various aspects of 100 different games and make a Shire game without it being this bad.
Yeah, I really was. As soon as this game was announced, I immediately was like, that's a perfect idea.
We've been talking about it forever.
Yeah.
Like,
it was like, I was so excited for it. And an extra code for D, she ran home from work early. She got off work 2 hours early as soon as I told her the codes came in. And she was like, let's play this thing. And she was devastated. She was like, I am not going to play this anymore. This hurts me. So yeah, man, this is the third Lord of the Rings game in a row that has received a 4 out of 10 from IGN. 2 of them from me. The Mordor Moria game.
Mordor's cool. Mordor was good.
Mordor is cool. Yeah, Moria, those were the days. Yeah, the Moria game, which was really a disappointment for me, and then Gollum, and then now this game. And I'm just like, whoever is controlling this IP, deciding what games are being made for it, is putting in really no effort, and it's a bummer, man. Yeah. It's a real shame. There's so much potential for this world to just crush it with games. And we've seen it happen before. That's the worst part, is we know how good these games could be because we have a ton of Lord of the Rings games to point at that are pretty solid.
Yeah, and I like the idea of taking the universe and saying, well, this kind of game fits over here and this kind of game fits over here. Like the Moria concept of having a builder game with the mines is great. The cozy game in the Shire idea is great. Even an adventure game with Gollum, while seemingly silly, could be done. These things are all intriguing ideas. I like this concept. I wish Star Wars did more of this kind of stuff. But yeah, you're not picking the right partners. You're not following it the right way as a licensor. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Good products are not coming out. So you either need to license it more, so there's 600 of them and you get one occasionally like Warhammer does, or you need to license it less and take a stronger hand on keeping your license intact.
So I read after my review was published, because I do not do a lot of research into like the studios that make the games that I review. I'm just trying to look at the game. I read that the studio that made this was the CGI studio that works on Lord of the Rings and various movie studio
did
kind of
work on them back in the early 2000s. But yeah, Weta Workshop is the first trademarked image you see when you start up Tales of the Shire. They were a special effects house in New Zealand. So I don't think they have a video game arm. They probably built one up for this.
Yeah, and so this is their first game, and it sounds like maybe they were sort of figuring things out. It got delayed a bunch. It has a very like famously troubled development. And so, yeah, I think that might be part of it, right? They're just sort of like, hey, you guys did the special effects on it, turn that into a game. And I don't think that was a winning plan. Just like I wouldn't expect that assignment given to that group of people to really ever turn out super well, unfortunately.
Well, that's a shame.
It's a bummer.
It is a shame.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I wanted to say, which I don't want to get into a long conversation about this because we've got plenty of games to talk through, but I'll just say, you put your review up, Travis. Obviously IGN gets more exposure than anyone else in the review space, right? And so there was clear that there was a community excited for this game. They saw your 4, and I think it's fine, as we talked about behind the scenes and on social, to criticize reviews, talk through them, ask questions. I don't know if it's just me. You guys can tell me if I'm weird about this, but one thing that really annoys me is when you post a review, the game's not out yet, and people say your review's wrong. And it's like, how, like, that literally just breaks my brain. It's like, and so they went into your review trying to nitpick aspects of your review without ever having played the game. Yeah. And that's just really frustrating to me. It's like, look, you can disagree with the reviews. You can love this game to death. Hell, we all have bad games we love. Whatever.
That's the reason I bought this game, was to come on this show and tell you how Travis is an idiot. It just didn't play out that way.
Yeah, and that's fine, whether you disagree or not. But like trying to nitpick at your review when the game's not even out because you want to like the game is such a broken mindset to me. I just don't understand it. And I that was really frustrating to me that people piled on about that.
I was hoping that interaction online would turn into like a discussion, because part of it seemed like they were just asking questions. But I do think that there's a thing that people do when they're hoping a game will be good, is they just say, hey, look, I read this review and here's all the reasons I think that their opinion is invalid and that we shouldn't listen to it. And it's sort of a bargaining stage of grief. I'm sure at this point now they're at the point where they're like, okay, yeah, there's some problems with it. But, I'm okay with people criticizing my review, especially if you've played the game. That helps. But when I respond to these things, what I'm trying to do is get the conversation into a place where we can talk about differing opinions without undermining one another's credibility or trying to cast aspersions that like the thing that annoys me about is like, oh, well, I don't think he's a real cozy gamer, or that he played the whole game. Like that sort of stuff. I'll like hop in and be like, dude, come on, man. Like at least give me the bare minimum amount of like charity when you're disagreeing with me. But anyway, you're allowed to disagree with me. You're allowed to think I'm wrong about this game. I can only tell you my experience with it, which is that I went in very excited and was just completely bummed out. And then when I respond online to people criticizing my review, I'm of course not trying to attack anyone. I'm just trying to provide additional context and hopefully just move the conversation into a way that's not like attacking somebody for their opinions, really just attacking the opinions themselves. Totally okay if you attack my opinions and say you disagree, but I think we should try to be charitable to one another during these debates. And I didn't really get
you would
that.
say, Travis, that reasonable minds can differ?
Reasonable can absolutely differ, but I do think there's a difficulty online. There's a very real challenge in like disagreeing without one another taking it personally or thinking that you're being attacked. And I do think
it's hard on social.
It's hard on social, especially when you're a writer for IGN and the assumption is that you have like a massive follower base and that you posting a person with like no followings criticisms of your review is you basically like advertising it to all your followers like, hey, here's somebody for all of y'all to attack and like shit on. I'm never trying to do that. And frankly, I have no followers, especially on Blue Sky. I have like no followers. And so I wasn't doing that. I don't think it was like a pile-on, but that's the impression, right? If you come from a big outlet, is that like you have the power and that if you're
you have the clout in the
if you're responding to somebody's criticism of your review, that you're basically like coming after them. And that's never my goal. And also, by the way, nobody cares about what I tweet online or I promise nobody cares. Yeah.
I was simply going to say reasonable minds can differ. I don't accept that someone criticizing a review without having played the game is a reasonable mind.
No, I'm saying that what Travis was advocating for.
I'm agreeing with you, Hope. Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Yes. No, they're not being reasonable if you haven't played it. I do understand. I'm sympathetic towards wanting something to be good, especially that you heard about 3 years ago and that you've had in the back of your head hyping it in some form or fashion. I understand wanting it to be good and being disappointed about it not being good. And the very first thing you do is shoot the messenger, which is like, well, maybe he's wrong. Maybe he's crazy. Maybe he doesn't play cozy games. Maybe he's an idiot. And I think people take that initial step and put it out there in the world too much. But I do understand it.
I will say it only takes the smallest amount of research to realize that I play a bunch of cozy games. It's on my author page.
Which is how I got wrapped up in it, because that's all I said. My only point was trying to say Travis doesn't have the experience or finish the game is silly. Like, I know him well enough. I've reviewed games with him. Like, all I said was you put in the effort, and then I got wrapped up in defending you. And I'm like, oh, what is this nonsense? Like,
man, I missed all these social media fights.
They were
it was on Blue Sky, and it was annoying. And I felt like, anyway, I didn't want to talk about it.
I think the cozy community is on Blue Sky, and so like my posting of the Hobbit review on Twitter did nothing. I think it got like one like no one cared. I posted it. I put on Blue Sky, it was like everywhere. There were so many quote tweets and retweets. Like, it was just a bunch of people posting on that platform. What do we call it, by the way? Is it Skeets on Blue Sky?
I'm not calling it that. That's stupid.
Okay. All right. What do they call it?
I don't know what to call it, but I'm not calling it that. So
okay. I like Skeets. I'm gonna go Skeets. It's funny.
Moving on. Anyway, we've talked about Shire enough, especially considering it's probably the worst game we're talking about this week. So let's touch on Grounded 2 real quick, Travis. So
yes,
you reviewed it. I recruited someone to review it, and I played it with them because they were the expert, not me. I played maybe 10 to 15 hours. He played way too many. I didn't realize. I knew he was a big Grounded fan. Pampa has over 500 hours in the first Grounded. Like, he's a diehard. So he so we had a good time. We put up our stuff. Obviously, you gave it an 8. You said it's it's in early access still. Obviously, there's things to come, just like the original Grounded. But as its core and as it sits right now, it's still a very, very good game with a lot of cool mechanics and cool features. And I think we pretty much lined up with what we wrote, very similar to what you wrote, because I read your review.
What was the score for?
We didn't score ours
because it's early access.
Well, we don't really have a defined policy. We kind of just take it as it sits, and decide whether we want to score it. We decided not to score this one, but if you just read it, it reads very similar to yours.
Cool. Yeah. I adore the first Grounded, and by my money, it's maybe the second best survival game ever behind Minecraft. Like, I love the first game, which was not always the case. When I played it in early access, like 18 months before the 1.0 version, I really did not like it.
It was pretty bare.
It was pretty bare. I came away with it like, it's a cool idea, but I just don't really find anything. And then when I played it later for the review, you know, like from moment one when I saw like the story cutscene they added, and they just pulled me in way more, and I played through that whole game. And that's one of those games where it is the best kept secret in gaming, because you play the first like 10-15 hours, you don't really get the true depths of its specialness until you get deep into that game. And then once you get over that hump, it is impossible to put down. Like, it is just, you could spend hundreds of hours in that game. And so playing the sequel, I was very excited. I know it's early access, and so I was a little worried that it would be like the first game where I didn't connect with it right away. Not the case. It feels way more like a complete game. Basically, what they've done is they finished the first act of the game. It's like a very clear marker when you get to the end of the story of like, okay, you're at the end of the beginning of the story. And it feels a lot more complete. That said, it's like maybe a third or a fourth of the map based on what we know of the park size. So it's a kind of confined space. You'll run into roped off areas that say under construction. You can see out in the world, there's like big patches of empty brown space. Like, they haven't even put any of the, you know, grass or anything out there. It's just empty. And it has sort of repeat areas like a picnic table and a like a charcoal grill out there it's very similar to the upturned grill in the backyard. And so this feels like pretty much a starting point, and also has a lot of technical issues, but everything else about it is awesome. They've completely redone the RPG system. So now you can like build into rogue and mage classes with armor and weapons. It's really, really cool. It has mounting of animals, of insects. There's only 2 in the game right now, but it is fantastic and lets you travel really fast without having to do the whole annoying zipline thing, which was one of the biggest hurdles to the first game. Is like, once you get the zip lines in place, the game feels amazing, but like getting the materials and building the infrastructure to actually have the zip lines is pretty brutal. It takes like dozens of hours. This one, you just hop on an ant and you can run across the map in like less than a minute. It's kind of crazy. And so they fixed a lot of the problems there. They also fixed the inventory capacity problem I had with the first game, because now your mount can carry as many items as you can, and so you can basically just offload a ton of stuff, which is huge. And if you're keeping other stuff on your insect, you can also call it to your side at any point by whistling for it. And you also don't have to carry a hammer, shovel, axe, all that stuff with you anymore, because you get an Omni tool that keeps all of those on you at all times and does not take an equipment slot, which is such an amazing change.
Much nicer
to what you had to do. You had to basically hard lock a bunch of your like loadout slots in your weapon wheel to like all these different items and switch between them. Oh, I need my shovel. Oh, I need my axe. And I need my hammer. And it was just like a very that's kind of normal in survival games, but they've streamlined it and just made it way less annoying. And then the story so far, I'm in love with. The voice actress that does like kind of the main good guy, your guide character, who's like very clearly not a good guy. Sloan Beaumont is fantastic. It's like my favorite voice performance this year. And so, I just had a great time with it. Yeah, it crashes. Yeah, the frame rate goes to absolute crap, even on a high-end rig on PC. But it's just fun. I can tell it's going to be a really, really good sequel. That said, I did give it an 8, so I give it a lower score than Grounded 1. This just has to go with the fact that Grounded 1 was a complete game. It was more stable. I think they'll get there without question, and I'm really, really excited. My plan is to not touch Grounded 2 at all and wait for it to be a finished game and then come back and review it, and I'm really excited for it.
Did they give a timeline for that?
No.
They have not. They do have a roadmap, which we included in our review. So there's a lot of stuff planned, and they kind of put it by quarter, if you will. So
I wouldn't expect a date or anything. Just kind of we think this will take a year. We think this will take.
My guess is it'll be like a year. I think last time it was just slightly over a year, so maybe a year to 18 months would be my guess. But it's also a much bigger map. They're gonna have to add a whole bunch more mounts. There's only 2 in the game. I think they're gonna do like 8 or something. So we'll see.
On the roadmap, it shows the fall update, the winter update, the summer update, and then future plans. So it's going to be a little while before they get to probably what they call 1.0, but there's some really cool stuff on this already that's planned, including some things that are like spray painted out, which plays into the story.
Oh, yeah.
So,
did you get to the end of the story, by the way?
Yeah, Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Isn't that a cool ending?
Yeah, it was neat. And so I'm not the diehard grounded guy. Pampa had all the context, and so we were talking through it. He was explaining some of the stuff I wasn't aware of, which was really cool. So he's the one who basically wrote all this. I just organized it for the site. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think I was trying to think if there's anything else to call out. I think like some of the new armor sets and like the gear, like you said, building into stuff is really cool. It's much deeper, which I like, because I like that kind of aspect of the game. The buggies are awesome. It's really cool because obviously I was riding around on the ant, he was riding around on the spider. And just having, even if you hop off, the spider just following you and like killing things for you. As like other bugs are popping up, and some of the new bugs are really cool, like the butterflies, like really honestly surprisingly beautiful, like in motion. It's really pretty. So no, it's great.
The butterflies in this game, they're basically dragons. They show up and they float, and then they breathe ice at you, and they like have basically their entire behavior set is like dragon coded, where it's like they're like flying above you and like breathing. It's really freaking cool. So, yeah, great game,
really well done. So it's out now in if you're Game Pass, obviously it's out now in Game Preview. If you want to check it out, and you can see both of our reviews in the normal places. So yeah, good stuff. I know we've got other games to talk about, Hope, but Travis and I have been talking. Hope, you got a game you want to talk about? Then we'll circle back to Wildgate and a couple of the other things.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about a couple of things. One of which is the game from Surgent that I talked about a few weeks ago, Dead Take, has been released.
Yes.
It is a first-person adventure. I think they call it horror adventure game. It's not really horror, so I want to disabuse you of that notion at the front. It's got some jump scares in it. Is
this the live action one?
There are live action elements. You find videotapes. You have various pieces of movie played at you. But no, it mostly takes place in a traditional kind of first-person walking simulator kind of environment. You pick up things, you spin them around, you read magazine articles, you read letters, you find that kind of stuff. Nice. It is okay. My problem with the stuff that I've seen released from Surgent, Zao, and now Dead Take is that I really like the ideas. I really like what they're going for, and like their design is just not where I want it to be in terms of making something special and interesting. Dead Take is an interesting premise that doesn't have very good puzzles in my experience so far, that has some good acting, as you would expect from actually putting actors in these places, but it doesn't have a lot of interesting things to say about this. This game takes place in like a Hollywood Hills mansion with like a famous director of movies, and it's talking a little bit about, the cost of entertainment and acting and all these various things that I love so much from one of my favorite games of the last few years, Immortality. But it is not remotely in the same like sphere of insight or interesting things to say as Immortality is. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. There are aspects of this game that feel a little bit like AI might have wrote them. I was just actually in the background looking at the Steam page to see if they had any AI disclosures. But I don't want to make any accusations when I can't prove anything. It's just that I have read a lot of AI in the back. And there are a number of things in this game that feel like AI might have had a strong hand in getting them made and put into this game. So that always feels a little bad to me. I can still recommend it because I think it's $15, and there are some cool performances, and it's not like everything else that's out there in video game land. Just don't expect it to kind of get past that interesting premise kind of 7 out of 10 feel. But I have played Dead Take, and I wish it were better, but it's not bad.
Sorry, I was typing a comment. Okay. Oh. Yeah, very good. I saw other people talking about that as well. I hadn't had time to check it out. So, okay. Is that the one is Ben Starr in that one too?
Ben Starr's in everything, first of all, so you can just assume that you're right.
Fair.
But yes, he is in this.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll talk real quick. I know Travis is responding to a comment. I'll talk real quick about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is a 2D Ninja Gaiden that released last week. And we reviewed it. So Elu, our lead editor, reviewed that. He, very seasoned like me, goes back to the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy and really kind of approached it from, okay, how does Ragebound stack up compared to what we remember the greats in the Ninja Gaiden 2D realm? And so I don't know if anyone else has seen the reviews on this. It actually has been reviewing very strong. So again, this is good old The Game Kitchen, who has made some of these kind of classic throwbacks games under the, is it Dotamu? I always forget how to pronounce it. Dotamu Publishing. You know what I'm talking about?
I always just say .emu, like it's a
.emu. Okay, we'll go with it. So, good collection of talent there that has really kind of done a good job bringing back some of these classic IPs and kind of keeping that mold that we may remember from the side-scrolling beat-em-ups and 2D games. Anyway, he gave it an 8. I know it's sitting even higher on OpenCritic. I think it's like in the mid-80s, so it seems to be very, very well regarded. And he really, really liked it. So you can check our review out on that up on the site, obviously. And it seems like a great time for these classic 2D games, man, between Ninja Gaiden and then Shinobi's obviously coming out later this month as well, which the early previews of and what I saw at Summer Game Fest were extremely strong as well. So
and had a demo drop this week. One of the interesting things about the Ninja Gaiden release was that Shinobi Art of Vengeance dropped their demo, I think, on the same day. So I wound up downloading them both next to each other and trying them out. They are obviously the same kind of premise, but they are very different feeling games. So I highly recommend anybody that likes the premise of one, check out the other. Ragebound is a game I'm very much enjoying. I specifically like the bit tunes, the chip tunes, whatever you want to call them. The music that's in this game, as well as the graphics remind me of like somewhere between an NES and a Super Nintendo. It's like an up-jumped NES kind of look for this game. It is really fun to play. It's very responsive. The controls are great. I will tell folks, this is actually the kind of game that is right now the hardest for me to play. Like even more than the Souls games. I have a little bit more luck with Berserker, a little bit more luck with the Liza P run I'm doing right now. Ragebound is actually a little bit trickier because it requires you to
run.
Yeah. Run is maybe a little generous to where I am
Walk.
in
That's
Liza
a hard
P
game.
right now. It is.
Stroll.
But you know what? Liza P gave me difficulty settings, so I'm playing with them.
Oh, that's fair.
I forgot they did change that. Yeah.
But no, in Ragebound, these 2D kind of platformer action games require you to rotate your left thumb in pretty like rapid succession between left and right, which is like one of the hardest things for me to do right now. So I am not super far in this game, and it's already pressing me as to whether or not I can go much farther. But I really like it. Highly recommend anybody that's remotely interested in the concept to check it out because they nailed it. It feels like a Ninja Gaiden, except you have a health bar and you can take some hits and do some stuff. But I wish I could play it more competently.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I was just reading through Elu's review to remind myself, and he basically says that the latter part of the game is where it really kind of hits its stride. He said the first few levels are kind of tutorial-ish, if you will. But he does comment, he goes, the game, you will die many, many times, even if you're a fan of those older games. Yeah, which is you want out of a Ninja Gaiden 2D game, right? Like, I mean, that's part of it. But he really enjoyed it. So anyway, if you want to check that out, it's out now, and you can read our review on the site. But yeah, people seem to be really enjoying that one. So
yeah, I think you got a 9 for my June.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's sitting up there, really highly regarded. So good stuff. Game Kitchen has made some good games. I forget which other ones specifically they made, but their games have.
That's Blasphemous, really, right? No,
I believe you're right. Yes, I believe they did do Blasphemous as well.
Good game.
Wildgate, Travis, talk to us about Wildgate.
Yes, let's talk about Wildgate. So I previewed this game a couple months ago, and my first thought was, wow, this could be really good if it catches on. But you never know if a game's going to catch on, do you? And so I was happy to review this one. For those who don't know, it is a 20-player multiplayer PvE experience. So basically, there are 5 crews of 4 players. You start on a map in a big old open galaxy. You work with your crew, kind of Sea of Thieves style, to move your ship around, and you take on PvE dungeons where you're fighting creatures and gaining loot. Your goal, of course, is to upgrade your ship and the capabilities that you've got, cannons and shields and whatnot, and eventually find the all-important artifact, which is a very powerful item you can take aboard your starship, and then extract it by getting through a portal that activates on the map called the Wildgate. The problem is there's only one artifact to go around, and other crews are going to try to kill you for it. And so you can either win by killing all of the other 4 crews and being the only team alive, or successfully evading those crews and extracting the artifact before they do. And so it kind of has a very similar kind of loop to a battle royale, where you're dropped into an area, and your first part of the game you're always worried about just like looting up and making your squad as well equipped as possible. And then in the second part of the match, it inevitably kind of spirals into straight up PvP, where the biggest things you're having to worry about are your opponents who are trying to kill you. It is a very unique game. I've not played another game like it. It is. I use Sea of Thieves because it's kind of the closest cooperative experience in terms of like working together to pilot this big old starship that has a bunch of different parts to it. But it's very unique because it combines a bunch of different parts of different genres. It's got a little bit of battle royale, a little bit of extraction shooter, a little bit of team-based Sea of Thieves ship operating thing, and it's very cool. My review sort of delves into how the game starts to feel after you've played it for a couple dozen hours, which I played it for maybe 25, 30 hours by the end so far. And then I actually played a little bit more after my review because some of the guys I was playing it with got really into it. But it's one of those games where if you give it a try and you take the chance to actually learn how to get good at it, and it does have a bit of a learning curve, it can be really fun. Its biggest problem is that it feels like it came out a little bit too early because it has a very bare bones kind of meta right now. Like there's only a handful of cannons, weapons, characters. There's only 7 playable characters and 4 different starships that you can go in. And they're all very cool, but it sort of feels like maybe a like early access build, and it is a 1.0. Like it's a game you have to fully pay for and dive into. And so my hope is that this game will find a way to survive by coming out with regular content. And if it does like what Helldivers did and just like comes out the gates with like a bunch of like live events and content drops and stuff, I think it could be really successful. But if not, it risks dying off pretty quickly because you sort of start to feel like you've seen everything after maybe a dozen matches. Like if they're long matches, you're starting to recognize dungeons that are very similar to the last time you ran through the dungeons. You're starting to encounter all of the same characters because there's only 7 of them in rival crews. And so you start to feel like you've kind of seen it run its course, and then it just becomes about like grinding and playing a lot of matches for purely cosmetic stuff. And so it has a very short runway, but it is really cool, and I really hope this game succeeds because I think it has a ton of potential, and it's just a unique, weird space game that has some really cool PvP encounters in it that are very tense and exciting and really cool. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. Means it's good. It's not great, but I think it has a good shot at being great if it can survive long enough. And I think its first week it had like 5,000 to 7,000 players on Steam concurrent at any point in time. So it's sort of seeming like it's a bit of a small player base right now, unfortunately. So
niche, yeah.
It's a tough
Those
sell
games
from
are
a
tough.
new team.
Yeah, it's tough. You have to get a whole crew in there. It is absolutely terrible at matchmaking. Also, just my experience, and this is not speak poorly on the game itself, but the community is pretty mean on this one. Like I got called the N-word like dozens of times while playing this game. It's just a lot of trolls and goblins playing this game. So yeah, the matchmaking I did not have fun with, and then I got codes for my friends and played together, and it was like a markedly improved experience. But like it's one of those games you kind of can't really do matchmaking with because you just can't rely on everybody having their mics on and actually being good at communicating. And bringing your own team is a tough sell. Getting into the PvP aspect is tough. It's hard to find the right player for this game, but once you get kind of a crew together and everybody figures it out, there's a real magic here that I know could be great. It's tough, man.
How is driving the ship, right? You've compared it to Sea of Thieves. You've said you have to move the ship around. Does everybody have a different role? I mean, I know how to move the sails in Sea of Thieves, but like, what does that play like? I understand the shooter
Yeah.
bits.
So that you have there's a bunch of stuff you can do on your ship. So there's one person piloting it, and they don't need anybody else to pilot it. They can kind of go around as they please. But you need fuel for your ship, and so people have to grab fuel. You have to do repairs because you're taking damage from various stuff. There's also different effects, like you getting like space leeches on the outside of your hull, and they drain your ship's power, and so you have to like get somebody outside to shoot it. So stuff comes up like that. And then there's also a probe where somebody is getting in a probe and taking it to like scan things and like see what's around you, see if there's any other enemy player ships coming toward you. And then there's of course the cannons, which the ships can have many cannons on them depending on which ship model you're using, and so they're having to worry about that. And then there's also stuff like boarding. You can get boarded by other players, and they can activate your reactor core and cause you to overload and explode. And so there's a bunch of different kind of things that you're working on together. But if in terms of Sea of Thieves, there's a lot more coordination on like moving. This one, there's less that, like one person can move the ship, but there's a bunch of things you have to worry about while in motion, more than in Sea of Thieves, arguably. Just that make it a little more dynamic. But yeah, it's a cool experience. Everybody having roles and working together and doing call outs and all that. It's really cool.
Sorry if I looked confused for a second. So right in the middle of the screen, like where we're broadcasting, it said there was an Xbox message that said someone wants to be my friend, but it was right where Hoag's picture is. So I thought he had put something on the screen, and I'm like, why is he putting that on the screen? And then it wasn't. I don't even have the Xbox app running. Like I don't, and it happened to pop up right in the middle of the stream. So I was like, did anyone else see that? Oh, okay. And then I realized
sounds to me like this guy just really wants to be your friend, and maybe
he's getting my attention. Apparently, yeah.
You never told to make new friends.
Sorry about that. Wildgate. From the way you've described it, I remember when you talked about the preview previously. My biggest issue with these games, and we've seen this for quite a number of years now, is like these ideas come along of like core multiplayer experiences that are really cool concepts. They can be really fun when everything works, but the percentage of time that everything works is far too low. And it just makes it more of a frustration trying to play good matches of it than actually is worth the effort. And I think in the industry now, so you look back at something like Evolve, right? When Evolve clicked.
I think of Evolve.
Yeah, when Evolve clicked, it was great. It was a blast.
Best I've ever played.
The number of matches I had where I could say that was sparingly few, right? And I think nowadays, obviously with so many big multiplayer titles that are vying for people's time and money at this point, it feels like a non-starter. It just feels like it's doomed to fail. Like unless you can capture some sort of either very unique or very social media zeitgeist spark right out of the gate. And
you need a streamer to pick you up. Yeah.
I think it's 100%. And I think this game's success is unfortunately, like my review is measuring the qualitative, like,
of course,
merit of this game. But like in the back of my mind, there's this huge thought that I can't get rid of, which is like the qualitative really is like 40% of whether this game's going to succeed or not, because it sort of has to catch fire. Like the player base is a big problem with the game, because like, let's say you don't want to play with people who are using mouse and keyboard if you're on console. Well, right now that's not really an option. There aren't enough people playing on console. You will never find a match. And so you have to play with crossplay enabled. And some people aren't going to want to do that. They're going to feel like they're going up against people that aren't playing using the same kind of rules as them. And it just adds like a little bit of like frustration. And so unfortunately the player base and just inherent popularity, and if this game is just one that got to catch on, is a huge aspect of like how this game feels. Because if there were a bunch of people playing games, if like everyone was on this game, I feel like a lot of the problems with like do matches work would go away, because your friends would be on it, right? Of course. That was one of the things that unlocked with Helldivers, is like everyone was playing it, so you didn't really have to worry about playing it with randoms. You could always play it with friends. This one, I had to get extra copies of the game and give them to people for free and say, please play this game with me. Not everybody's going to have that. And as we talked about earlier this week, I know we didn't air these, so I shouldn't reference them, but there's a whole generation of people who won't play games if they're not free. And literally, I tried to get somebody to play this game with me and provided a code, and their response was, "Oh, I thought it was free anyway." So they were like not even willing to play it with me when they thought they had access to it. And then I told them, actually, you need a code as well. And so I think
this feels to me like one that maybe should have explored the Game Pass PlayStation Plus model. Like we saw it with Firebreak.
Yes.
Firebreak is a game that did not connect with me at all, but I at least gave it a try because it was available to me. I would give this game a try if there were a lot of people playing it and I felt like I could get into a group that I enjoyed. But I am unwilling to front the money on an experience that I may or may not like because there may or may not be people that I want to play it with at all.
Yeah, literally my biggest non-qualitative critique of this game is the way it was released, whether it's being a paid game that isn't like free to play with microtransactions, or just not being on one of those services. Because if they could have partnered with Game Pass and gotten in there, I honestly think if more people tried this game, I think they would like it. But it's very hard to recommend because separate from the merits and demerits of it, it's just like I don't know if it's going to stick around for very long. And I can't imagine the player population is super healthy right now because it was already struggling on its first week. So I just really hope that they have some plan to like stick with it, get it in the hands of more people, develop. They already have a roadmap with like they're adding ships, they're adding characters, they've got plans. They're going to do like in-world events that change kind of the way the map works and all that, which I think all of that could be amazing. They just have to find a model for people to actually try this game, because I honestly think if they try it, people will like it. It's very cool. It's got a cool idea. But yeah, it's a little tough. But I had fun with it. 7 out of 10. Good, not great. If this sounds like it's your bag, you should definitely play it. But if it doesn't, and it seems like a lot of people are skeptical on it, then yeah, it's tough to recommend for purely from a like will it continue to be successful or have legs perspective.
Yeah, it's well, that's cool. I think you've just reminded me at SGF. I don't even think I talked about this game on the show yet, but I played Thick as Thieves, which is a PvPe, combo game. Very cool concept. It's from what's the famous designer? I'm forgetting his name now.
Warren Spector.
Thank you, Warren Spector's team, and sat with the team there and played it, and I really liked it. It's got almost a dude, I'm just blanking this morning. Dishonored vibe to it, but like in a multiplayer kind of competitive setting. And it was really neat. But as I'm playing it, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, to really vibe with this game, you're going to need a big community that's all playing this together and kind of enjoying this aspect. And to Hoag's point, I think a Game Pass or a PS Plus model really helps there. And I think games trying to launch into this early access kind of small model with a limited user base for this type of game, it's just asking for trouble. It just
I feel like it's a rock and a hard place, right? Because I obviously play a lot of games. I want them to have more complicated mechanisms. I want to get into the fun that I have in a complicated board game scenario. I like Evolve. I like them trying to do these things, but it seems like the only pathway to business success is this kind of complete flattening of any kind of complicated mechanism that would require you to have some kind of specialized knowledge to not just drop in on a parachute and Fortnite around or whatever else it is that you're going to be playing. And that seems a shame. It seems like the industry itself, if they want to sell these kind of more complicated games, have to get the consumer base into some kind of gaming school, understanding that you have to go through this preparation step to have that fun, and that you can actually achieve higher levels of satisfaction, higher levels of fun if you put in that time. But as it stands right now, people won't put in 30 seconds, let alone $30. And so we've just got the wrong mental state to sell these games into this market right now.
You could not be preaching to the choir more, Hoag. So if you extrapolate that out to kind of just the FPS genre, it's my biggest complaint with Fortnite and the Call of Duties is that there's better shooters out there, but they require time investment, right? And the skill gap is bigger, and the feeling of succeeding or getting better, improving your skills, or outplaying someone is so much more exciting in other games. But to your point, people just want to drop in and play, and they don't want to invest that time to get the knowledge or skills or whatever it is. And it just frustrates me to no end, because I sit in the same place as you. It's like I enjoy learning something new and really trying to figure it out. And you have to take your lumps, right, in some of those games to do that. And I don't mind that, but I think a broad percentage of the gaming industry is kind of aimed at that the other side, which kind of drives me
because people have shown that they do mind that. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm the market here, game developers. I'm telling you that your market doesn't appear to allow for what your devs want to make in certain respects, like Wildgate right this second. And so you're either going to have to flatten it out completely and lose me as the edge case, or you're going to have to figure out how to teach your market how there's fun in these designs.
Yeah. You got to do one or two for sure. But anyway, that's cool though, Travis.
You definitely have to take your lumps in this game, and I think the onboarding is pretty tough. People who've been playing the game for a while, like if you were to jump in now, you're going to face like people who've unlocked all the weapons, all the ships, know all the tricks, board you, destroy your entire ship, rip all your weapons off. Like it can be pretty brutal learning this game. Luckily, they do have a mode where you can play against bots, which is actually pretty cool. Get 4 players together, play against robots, and just sort of train up. They don't really advertise that mode very well, but it is a thing you can do. So it's a cool game. I wish more people would play it, but it's a tough sell.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for keeping us updated on it. Let's get caught up on some super chats. We're behind on a few of these. I'll take this first one, Travis. It's from our good friend, Mr. Segovia, Alex in the house with the 199. Here to remind the new entry of Good in Gaming. I was not going to forget, Alex. I literally have it on a rundown at the end, but I'll shout it out now. So Alex did a personal perspective on Death Stranding 2. He loved the game top to bottom, but it really hit him in a very personal way. And it's part of what we like to feature over on the SG side in our Good in Gaming initiative, which I started when my son died. I know many people who have followed us for a while are aware of this, but it's a really good article. It's really touching. And I think that it shouts out the things we like to shout out as part of this initiative, which is that video games can have a far broader impact than just what is usually perceived by the general, non-gamers. And so definitely check that out. I'd appreciate it if you give it a look. He put a lot of effort into it. He was going to review the game a couple weeks after release because he just really spent his time with it and everything. And I was like, no, dude, like write about the game from your perspective. It'll hit a lot harder than a review at this point in time. And I'm glad he did.
If I can just back you up on that, Ains, because I've read, I think, almost everything Alex has written for y'all. I said to him in DMs, and I truly believe this, that this is the best thing he has written that I have seen.
I would agree.
It is tremendously detailed and sensitive, and just will put you in his shoes for how he felt about Death Stranding 2, without making promises that you'll feel the same way about that game. And it is one of my favorites of the year, but I really think it's worthwhile to check out because Alex is already a gifted writer. This is his best stuff.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I would agree. And I think as everyone knows who watches this, I'm not a Death Stranding fan or a Kojima fan. That doesn't matter. You don't have to be to read this article. It'll still get you. So check it out, please. I'd appreciate it. You can find it on the main rundown of our site or under the Good in Gaming banner at the top in the header menu. So thank you. Machine XP. Go ahead, Travis. Hit us.
Machine XP, $5 super chat. Embracer sure is doing wonders with the license, referring to Lord of the Rings. Gollum was amazing. Now this. Yeah, unfortunate. I don't think we need to beat that dead Nazgul.
That dead hobbit. Yeah. Machine XP, one of our regulars. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate you. Fat Boy Horror.
Fat Boy Horror, £2. Bring back Bad Company.
Hell yeah.
3 exclamation points. That's too many.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about Battlefield 6 here shortly. I have a lot of thoughts. I've talked to a lot of people who have played this game now, so it's coming. But yes, Bad Company 2 is the GOAT, without a doubt. Thank you, my friend. I wanted to shout this one out for you, Hogue. It's not a super chat, but you were talking about your struggles on Ninja Gaiden due to your thumb rotation. So Ender Buckley, I don't know if you saw this, a leverless fight stick to get around. That specific struggle also says Shout out to the new 8-bit do 1, allowing me to do assist/co-pilot mode on Xbox since their adapter flagging I think he means won't let me use my PS1.
Yeah.
So
the answer to that is no. I know people have heard me talk about it in the past, but for the most part, I was using the lack of dexterity on the controllers as part of my rehabilitation. I still am. So I'm reluctant to kind of move to not trying to do that. But at some point in the near future, I might, because there is a certain class of game that it is very difficult for me to play. But like I rolled credits on Bonanza. I can play a lot of games that require you to move through space that I couldn't a couple years ago. So I want to keep pushing that. But I will maybe look into alternative control mechanisms in the future, because it's certainly the case. It's just like, if you just imagine like jumping between walls, like simple stuff in a Ninja Gaiden is just tricky because you have to swap the sides at just a rapid pace.
Yep. That's fair. So thank you, Ender, for the recommendation. Shout out to Debbie Dubs is here.
Debbie Dubs, $10 super chat. Good morning. Joining late, but about sleep changes post 40. My body has decided that 5 a.m.
Perfect timing is that?
The best time to go to sleep. I've decided to embrace it and get chores done instead of fighting it.
Mm-hmm. I get up when I'm told.
Yeah, Debbie, this is hilarious because you said you're joining late and she only super chatted just a few minutes ago. So I'm sure she missed our conversation at the start of this show where Hogue and I were joking about post 40 sleep schedules being out of whack. So Debbie, you'll have to go back and listen to that because you'll get a laugh out of it. But I also did thank you, Debbie, not only for the super chat, but for the 5 memberships that you gifted last week. So thank you very much. Glad to hear you're doing well. And yeah, we understand. Travis will understand soon. He's getting there.
No, I don't think I'm going to make it that far.
Oh, yeah?
Chris Jetzer,
$5 super chat. FPS genre is so competitive. October has Battlefield 6, Kingmakers Early Access, and Arc Raiders. All offer something different, but fall also has tons of games.
Yeah, seriously. October is insane. And for me personally, because you guys know I play in this space, Arc Raiders was already a given. It's fantastic. Battlefield, which we're about to get to, I'll touch on, and then Borderlands 4. I've already told everyone I know those are the 3 games I'll be playing. It's not worth talking to me about anything else. They're going to own my life. So,
all right, we'll get excited for those episodes. Folks.
Yeah. I'll let Hogue and Travis talk about other games. I won't be talking about anything else.
I think I'm reviewing Arc Raiders. That'll be fun.
I should be in that with you, depending on how they decide to review it, because that really requires a community to play properly.
My October is very different. It's like Silent Hill.
I'm in on Silent Hill too, as well. But
yeah,
I'm sorry, I was speaking multiplayer, basically. Yeah,
games.
You can play whatever you want. Yeah,
I would argue. I would argue that honestly, the games, the biggest thing that these games are fighting for is people's time. You don't have time to play them all. There's 9 out of 10s you're gonna have to skip over. You just can't play them all.
There's too many. Which is, I think, all of us on these shows started talking about that several years ago. It's like it's gonna get to the point where there's just too many games that require too much time. You can't play them all.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Gamers specifically aren't used to that because there was a time where you could play every good game. You could beat every good game. And now that era is long gone.
The old thing I used to say. Oh, I'm sorry, Travis. The thing I used to say was that I played everything worth playing. Like there was some stuff around the edges that you wouldn't necessarily get to, but there would be months where you would catch up on your quote unquote backlog because you were waiting out a desert of actual releases, not just skipping indie games, but like waiting out anything coming out. It's hard to fathom now in 2025, but yeah, if you like all these genres like I do, the reason Hoag's Notes exists is because I'm popping my head into everything, and you just can't keep up. As a matter of fact, this week alone, I repurchased the Romancing Saga 2 Switch 2 version, which I'm adoring. I love that game. I've talked about it a year ago, I think, at this point on the show. But that made me think, I have some more Kingdom games to play. I'm halfway through Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, and it got an update for Switch 2, so I've downloaded that. And then I said, I only got 3/4 of the way through Unicorn Overlord, so I downloaded that. And then I wind up playing like a half dozen, like Fantasy Kingdom JRPGs, not really getting anywhere in any of them, and then saying, I guess that was a good session, but I really should focus up a little bit. But I don't want to miss all these other cool things that are happening in gaming.
This is why I just need to retire. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel the same way to some extent, Travis. Like, I'm clearly too wired to do stuff, but
can do more fun things than work, though.
It is the absolute
plenty to do in this world.
No, let's work.
It is the absolute case. There's too much stuff to take in yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for the generosity. Before we get over to Battlefield 6 real quick, I know you wanted to touch on a preview you did, Travis, on Killer Inn.
Yes. I'm very excited to talk about this game. So Killer Inn was a big surprise for me. I got put on it the day before the preview event. So, my editor was just like, hey, check out this game. Happens to be a social deduction game I'd never heard of. And I'm now very excited for it, having played it a bit. It is a game where you and I think it's 23 others, I think it's a 24-player game, start in a hotel. You're each in your own hotel room, and you start to walk around the hotel and complete missions and collect loot. However, a third of you, 8 players out of the 24, are actually murderers whose goals is to kill the other 16 players without getting caught. And so you walk around this hotel together and complete quests, but the quests sort of require you to walk around the hotel and end up in isolated areas. And when that happens, one of the players who wants to kill you will inevitably shoot you in the back of the head or stab you or do something like that. Make you walk into a tripwire that blows you up. And then as soon as somebody dies, the game is on. You can basically anytime they're called wolves versus the sheep. If you're a wolf, your goal is to kill the other 16 players without getting caught. If you're a sheep, your goal is to find out who the wolves are and kill them. So it has a very much an Among Us vibe. The big change is that usually in these social deduction games, the way you kill the good guys is by agreeing that they're evil. You have to vote on, getting them out, throwing them out of the airlock. This game, you take the matter into your own hands and you just have to kill them. And so there's an additional hurdle of like, all right, well, now I think this person's evil, or I've confirmed that they're evil. Now I actually need to track them down and end them. And so anytime a wolf kills a sheep, they leave behind a clue that anybody can approach the body and pick up. And clues help narrow down this guess who list of potential suspects. So you might find a red hair, and now you know that the killer has to be one of the characters with red hair, or it might have a green piece of clothing, and so you know that they're wearing green somewhere on their ensemble. And so it starts to narrow down the pool of suspects, and then eventually, if they're very careless and leave behind too many clues, you can actually find out confirmed that they're evil. And so it adds a little bit of a social deduction. It's basically a social deduction game with RPG third-person shooter mechanics layered on top of it. If you're a sheep, you're trying to level up, get better weapons, get better equipment to survive and eventually take down wolves. And then you're also given a objective of trying to collect 4 keys and leave the hotel, which has a bunch of different hoops you have to jump through to make that happen. Meanwhile, if you're a wolf, you're just trying to get these players alone and kill them and hide evidence and obfuscate the truth and work together to do kind of social plays and get people killed. It has proximity chat enabled, which is hilarious because you can hear people figuring things out, and you can also chat with people and try to get them to turn on one another. And it led to some really cool moments. I really like social deduction games, and I feel like it's one of the genres that is least kind of developed. I think there's a ton of room for more of these experiences to come out and do different things. And this feels like a pretty different take on the genre. It was very interesting. I had a lot of fun with it. It is in beta right now. Their last beta weekend was 2 weekends ago, and I think they're waiting to announce the next one. But I'm definitely going to be returning and playing with some of my friends because I love social deduction games, and this was very funny. Had lots of people screaming in the lobbies, and just had a very good vibe to it. So recommend it. But again, it's pretty early, and hopefully I'll see more of this game, preview it down the road, maybe do the review. But I'm very I was very impressed by what I saw.
Yeah, it's I've been watching the preview video on Steam. So you can request access to join the beta. So I guess whenever they do have another beta, you can get invited. No release date yet. But it looks really cool. I'm actually surprised this is made by Square Enix.
Yeah, I was also surprised
so,
by that. I'd never heard them talk about this game until I was playing it, but it was a pleasant surprise.
Looks really cool. Looks really cool. Nice.
Yeah, it was really fun. And also it has this thing where anytime any player that gets killed, they go into a lobby of people watching the game. And that lobby has a separate voice chat and everybody can hear each other. And so you'll have people get killed off and you're like watching players play and somebody got killed off and you can hear them react to it. They're like, oh my God, I should have known he was evil, stuff like that. And so it just leads to these really cool moments. It also allows you to just do like, I saw one, he was a developer, so he really knew what he was doing, but he just like played it super. He was basically playing as a good player, didn't kill any good players, but he was a wolf the entire time. And he waited until the end of the game. And it shows you how many wolves are still alive. There's 3 players left. One of them is a wolf. All of them are working together to find the keys and get out. And the wolf convinced the other 2 sheep to basically shoot at each other because he was like, look, I've been good the whole time. Like one of you is evil. And so they shot at each other. And one of the rules of the game is that if you're a sheep and you kill a player and they are not a wolf, your character turns into stone and you get eliminated. And so basically the sheep killed another sheep, immediately died, and then the other wolf just like picked off the remaining person left alive. And he basically won just by doing a complete social play. And it was really, really cool. So yeah, I'm excited for this one, man. I love social deduction games, and this was like a really neat take on it. Because it adds something for players like you and me, Ains, where there's like also okay, I figured out you're the wolf. Now I need to like kill you. And so there's like a little bit of like shooter working with your team and, stuff like that. I did one run too where I was just like, I'm going to be outed evil. I just started throwing grenades. I found grenades at the beginning of the game, which was like just lucky. And I threw grenades and I killed like 4 players, left a boatload of evidence. They immediately found out it was me, but I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to run around and hide and try to like outplay them from the gunplay perspective. And that's an option if you just want to be like chaos mode. You'll almost certainly get killed because they outnumber you, but it is a funny way you can play the game. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, I would love to do a beta run with you guys. I have some beta codes.
I'll request access. Do that. Or if you have a code, I could probably get a code. I wasn't even aware of it.
This is one I would definitely try. First of all, I also love social deduction games. My family won't play them with me anymore. And I love Square Enix being weird. I love Square Enix being weird. I support those games that they make. So I would love to try it. Sounds cool.
Let's try the beta together. That'd be fun.
Let's do it. All right. Let's see here. Let's move on. We need to get over to Battlefield 6. So
I have one more game I need to talk about before Battlefield 6.
Go.
This will be my last Hogue note, I promise. I wanted to talk about this last week. It is a horror game from a small Spanish indie developer. It is called Luto. Luto. And the best way to depict this game for people who have never heard about it before, which is probably 99% of you, is that it is the old PT demo, the famous Hideo Kojima walk down a hall and get the pants scared off of you game. It's PT as seen through the eyes of the Stanley Parable. So you have a narrator kind of talking about what the character is doing, why they're doing it in somewhat humorous fashion while you get scared as air fresheners go off when you walk by them and you try to figure out why the house is changing around you. All takes place in one location. Where you try to figure out what's happening. Yeah, those automatic like spritzers that when you walk by,
they're on a timer, and like every hour they just go. Psh,
and those things. Okay, yeah, that is a fancy.
Yeah, so thing. in horror game land, they use that for you to go, what was that? Right around the corner, and then it's like, oh, it was just a Glade air fresh thing, whatever. But it's a game that I really enjoy. It is not as detailed as like the top of the line AAA games. It's not even as detailed as PT it was back when it was a demo. But it takes a lot of those same concepts, screws with your mind a lot. It has that kind of psychological, existential horror that I prefer over jump scares. And I always want to call out an effort by a tiny team like this. It is closer to an 8 or a 9 than a 4 or a 5. And I don't know that I've seen anybody really talking about it at this point. So I wanted to make sure I got it talked about today because I was going to talk about it last week and I just frankly forgot.
It's a shame you didn't bring it up last week because Luis reviewed it for a different outlet. He's, he kind of writes for multiple small outlets, and he
Betrayer.
I know. I think, and he probably forgot to mention it too. So kind of funny. But yes, I have seen this. It does look cool. So that's LUTO for anyone listening.
It is cool. It is not full price. It seems to be very robust. I haven't gotten to the end. It's got a number of hours in it and a number of cool ideas. So
Awesome.
If any of that sounds good, check it out.
Fantastic. All right. We got one other super chat. I'll save that one for now. Let's get over to Battlefield.
Yeah, we can talk about busting down buildings for you now, Ains. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Allowing me to say Luto.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, so Battlefield 6's multiplayer debut, excuse me, was this week. And so it was a huge event. They had a big place where everyone went in LA to try the game. They had all sorts of the famous streamers. Golden Boy was there casting, and some of the people I talked to behind the scenes were there as well, which is great because I got some more inside information. But essentially, they showed all the details of what you can expect with Battlefield 6's multiplayer. So starting from the top, release is October 10th. That was leaked ahead of time. It is confirmed now. So October 10th, it is a full $70 release. They also have a $100 edition, which is what you would expect. A few cosmetics, you get the first season pass, extra cosmetic stuff, and you get the extra XP and all that stuff if you want it. There was a lot of conversation. I've watched interviews with Vince Zampella, who we mentioned last week, and some of his directors and producers on this. A lot of studios, I think it's 4 or 5 studios working on this one game because there's a lot to it. But essentially, I won't talk about this forever because I'm that excited about it. But essentially, if you're like me and you grew up really playing Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3 and 4, which are considered, those are probably your top 3 generally agreed upon. And then the last decade of 5, 1, and 2042, not terrible at times, but just not up to that Battlefield standard. This is very, very clear, top to bottom, that all the team, the director, and everyone I know who's played this is like, if you love Battlefield 3 and 4, you're going to be in heaven. They went back to the core of Battlefield, which is 4 classes, your squad working together, large-scale combat, and destruction beyond what was accomplished previously. The destruction is bonkers. And so you put all that in a sandbox, and then they have all the same modes, right? Conquest, Rush. They have a new one called Escalation, which is like a escalating tension version of Conquest. And then they have the smaller ones like Domination, etc. But long and the short of it is there's going to be a couple open betas here in early August. All these details are on SG if you need them with all the dates and everything. And it releases October 10th. And I'll just tell you guys, having consumed way too much Battlefield footage over the past few days on YouTube from both the stream and people I know and other just big people who were running things down having played this is finally what we've been wanting to see from those teams at Battlefield for the past decade. I mean, this looks exactly what I want, literally top to bottom. I mean, like, I can't even think of something that it's like, oh, it's missing this, or man, I wish they didn't do that. Like, everything I've seen is like, yep, that's what it should be. And you can just tell the passion. I watched a bunch of interviews with some of the various team members, and you can just hear it. Like, you can sense when a team is passionate about their game. Like, anyone who's covered games, you can feel that. And you can feel it with this game. And everyone I've talked to who's played it is like, dude, I just want to play it more. Like, it's that good. So I just can't wait. Like I said, I could ramble about this one for a while, but if you need all the details of what was shown, we have a full rundown of everything you need to know on SG. Has all the links, the classes, the maps, the modes, and everything, and full rundown. Sorry, one more thing I forgot to mention is the paid edition is going to include campaign. So it does have a full single player campaign. They're talking more about that at a later date. There's just kind of the synopsis of it right now. Multiplayer is 9 core maps, obviously large scale maps that are then refined in various ways for the different modes. And a bunch of like cosmetics and stuff, right, that are included. And then they haven't detailed it out yet, but it's the worst kept secret that there is going to be a battle royale component to this that is free to play. So it sounds like they're launching kind of this paid known Battlefield suite with campaign and multiplayer, and then they're going to have a free to play component in battle royale that they're going to talk about separately. So I'll stop there. Like I said, I could ramble forever. I know I'm, of the three of us, probably the one who, is most excited about this. But, any commentary or thoughts from your guys' perspective or questions that I could answer?
I'm just happy that after years of being on this show with you, Ains, I could look at that teaser and that footage and say, I have an instinct that Ains is super happy about this, and be right.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, as soon as I saw that they were pushing the destruction and the combined arms squad activity, I thought, that seems to be what you had asked for them to go back to their kind of core competencies, to use a little corporate speak.
Yep.
And it did look like that from afar. I'm not in the world of Battlefield enough to know exactly whether or not that'll be something I personally would enjoy. I do like what they've shown enough that I might pop in. That you say full campaign. My experience with Battlefield campaigns is that they suck and that they're like 4 hours long. So I don't know. That's probably not what would drive me to getting the game one way or the other. But I'm glad you're excited about it, and it seems worthy of being excited about, especially if you like this as a franchise already.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and yes, like I said, all the people I've talked to and stuff I've consumed, it's what we've wanted finally, and so I couldn't be more excited. I have friends who I haven't gamed with in several years, if not more, maybe a decade, who have texted me of like, is it really back? Like, are we really doing this fall? And I'm like, man, we're in. So I can't wait. Yeah. It's also, one of the things I wanted to ask you guys about, because we talk about this a lot on the show, is paid multiplayer releases, right? We've talked about that. The expectation on a lot of these is free to play now. Battlefield's coming out now. It does have a campaign. We don't know, to your point, Hogue, to what extent that's going to be content-wise. But it is coming out in the Call of Duty still model, right? Which is a $70 game. And I think people were like, okay, is this still going to fly in 2025? Well, I can tell you that as of Friday, literally a day later, it's the best-selling game on Steam. And it's the best-selling game on Steam right now. It's the excitement for this one feels like it's through the roof. I'm willing to bet that this is going to blow the doors off, no pun intended, sales-wise.
You intended that pun.
Game. I sure did. Come on. But yeah, I think this is going to do extremely well. I think people underestimate, because it's been so long, how big the Battlefield community really is when this game hits. And I think this is going to really take over the multiplayer scene this fall. Obviously, Call of Duty will do what Call of Duty does. Fortnite's not going anywhere, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Battlefield's going to really be up there.
Yeah, but Battlefield at its height was pretty close to toe-to-toe with Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was up there.
Nobody is, but it was in the neighborhood.
You remember when I don't remember which guy it was, but you remember one of the leads at EA saying at the time, this is like a decade plus ago, saying like Call of Duty every year is never going to work and we're going to take over. I think it was like at the tail end of Battlefield 4. It was like, well, you took the wrong curve after that release, didn't you? So
we knew things were going to change.
Yeah. But again, as I said last week, jokingly before this reveal, Vince Zampella, man is gold. He's a treasure. Put a bubble on him so nothing happens to him, because I'm telling you, when his hands are on something in the multiplayer space anyway, it hits.
Project management matters. It does.
It sure
the
does.
Creatives matter, but the management matters too.
Yep. Yeah. And I think everything I've seen is leading me to think they've got both of those combined, which you need for a top tier game to succeed.
Well, and you said they're like using their 4 or 5 studios like that. That's a mess as it is. So they're putting something together.
Yeah, in one of the interviews, it was Vince and I forget one of the exec, his guy who leads all the studios combining efforts, and Vince was complimenting him like there's so many disparate things going on across these studios and how he's managed to keep them together and focused. And I was like, it shows, right? You can tell when things come together properly and when we don't. We've been playing games long enough. So
now you said all the information will be on Season Gaming, but do we have beta dates? Is it closed?
Yes.
Is it open?
Yeah, everything's up. Beta is literally next weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's ready to go. So
is that why we're skipping a show next weekend? so we can play Battlefield.
Can you believe I've already been granted early access to both betas and I can't play
And
any
you're on
of
a
them?
trip.
And it's driving me nuts. So
Well,
beta is next weekend. There is early access if you were signed up for Battlefield Labs or kind of like a prior EA chosen member to be part of their testing community. So they open it up on Wednesday, I believe. What's the date today? 4th, 5th, 6th. Open it up on Thursday for early access that group. Then there's open beta next weekend, the 9th and the 10th. And then the following weekend, the Friday, I believe the Friday, Saturday, Sunday is all open beta as well. And it's not like one map. They said there's 4 maps in the open beta. So it's going to be a nice big test.
It does appear like they waited to be ready to go for their big reveal, which I like.
Yes.
There are these times where it feels like, well, you're not quite ready for showtime. And this one feels like it's even further along than you might think. So that's exciting too.
Yeah. And I wonder if their free battle royale approach to get people in the door, assuming that's done well, right? Will just same as Call of Duty, right? Warzone's free. You want Call of Duty the suite, you have to pay for it, and there's crossover there. They're taking that same approach. Going to be interesting to see how it works for them. Shout out to Destin in the chat. Good to see you, my friend.
We need to get that guy on the show.
He's popped in on occasion.
He does pop in on occasion. Hey, Destin.
Has he been a guest?
Yeah,
I don't think formally.
Well, no, but we've had him join us. Remember, we had him join us like mid-show one time.
Oh,
I just sent him a link and he jumped in.
Nice.
So hope you're doing well, man. Shout out to the 200 people concurrent hanging out with us as well. If you're enjoying it, share it out as always. Hit that like, tickle Google's buttons, as Hogue says. So.
I do say that. And
Gross.
it's true. One thing I have found, I said on my channel on my video that I made this week, one thing I have found is that YouTube is responding a lot more to comments on my videos in terms of making sure that they get out and that you're not blacklisted as a content creator. So if you've got any comments you want to leave for us, leave them on either side, on my channel or on Seasoned Gaming's. YouTube is going to like that even more than hitting its buttons as of right this second, from my experience. So leave a comment. Tell us how awesome we are, how stupid we are, anything in between. I don't really think YouTube is judging what you're saying to us. So just leave a comment.
I can promise you they're not.
I'm judging.
I expect that from you, Travis.
But anyway, yeah, if you are a shooter fan or Battlefield fan, or even just a fan of those types of games, take a look, check out the dates. You'll be able to play it very, very soon. And, that's where I'll be in October.
I'm excited to play that
time after. I can't wait. Let's get caught up. A couple more super chats here.
Christopher Jetser, $5 super chat. With the news of troubled development of Bioshock 4, I was wondering about thoughts on Judas, as that also appears to be having issues.
I don't think
talked about
those games having issues is the hallmark. That's how you know they're going to be good, right? That's based on history.
The leaks from Bioshock 4 is that it didn't pass like publisher review and has gone back to Foundation. So like that's not what you want to hear. Even minor issues are okay. Judas I haven't heard anything about, but I don't think it's having issues as much as it was announced very, very early in its process. And to Travis's point, Ken Levine does have a history of kind of coming in hot. But when it comes in hot, his stuff comes together. So I don't really have concerns about Judas. If I have any concerns, is that it winds up being too identical of a clone to Bioshock or System Shock or something that I already love. But I don't really have that concern as it stands right now because we don't know enough about Judas.
All fair. Yeah. Interestingly enough, someone who is aware of the projects posted on Blue Sky. I think his name's John Shirley. He's the guy who wrote the Rapture book. And said he has the script or whatever, or not screenplay, but you know what I mean, the script for the game of Bioshock 4. And he just posted openly yesterday, like additional information. So he said like Ken Levine has kind of his hands over all of this. And so there's things that he wants to redo or change, which doesn't make anyone who knows Ken Levine, that's not surprising. But obviously Ghost Ship Games, which is his studio, right, which is making Judas, I thought was completely separate now from 2K and what they're doing with Bioshock.
Yeah.
But from what he said, Ken Levine still kind of oversees both.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it's 2K now that's making it internally. It wouldn't surprise me if they wanted Ken Levine's name as a producer or some other similar
Right.
role so that they can market the next Bioshock entry. So the fact that he's taking that seriously and not just as a paycheck, I think again matches with my outside the room understanding of how Ken Levine operates. But it might be throwing 2K Take-Two off a little bit if he's not allowing them to go in whatever developmental direction they were going.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's disappointing though. I mean, I'm a big Bioshock fan. I'm waiting.
It's like a decade old, right?
Yeah, we haven't had anything in a long time. So the rumor also came out, or the news, the report, if you will, that in addition to this publisher review, that a remake of Bioshock 1 was canceled as well. Which, I mean, Bioshock 1 doesn't really need a remake, but I would have played it. I mean, I love that game. So
maybe I saw the news wrong because I thought what we heard was the cancellation of the Netflix movie attempt.
Not from what I read, unless
Okay.
one of us has it wrong, or maybe both.
Bioshock really strikes me as a game that could only work as a game.
No, the movie idea, we've talked about it in this space, that the Bioshock movie concept didn't make sense to us. But that's the story I read, but it would not surprise me if the scuttlebutt through the rumor mill got confused either at the rumor level or the journalist level or now at our level. I mean, there's so many places for it to go wrong.
True.
You called me a what? You called me a what, Butthog? What'd you say about
Moving
my
on?
Fat Boy Horror, £5 super chat. Breaking buildings is what I like to hear. 3 exclamation points. That's too many. Quad bikes and C4 being them on. 2 exclamation points. Also too many. It does look amazing. 2024 was such a letdown.
That's not 2024, but I appreciate you.
No, he's a little dyslexic, but I agree that 2024 was a bit of a letdown.
Also,
did
fair.
I say 2024? Yeah. I am actually dyslexic. Like not ironically. I have dyslexia. Yeah, okay. 2042 was such a letdown.
It was, and it's become an okay Battlefield at this point in time. The biggest problem with 2042 was that they made the 128 player stretch. The maps became too big, and they didn't think about your moment-to-moment gameplay in the situations, which becomes, there's just these huge gaps of nothingness, which, and then the destruction sucked. They completely went away from it, and it's not great. So anyway, yes, Fatboy, be excited, man. I will see you online for sure. Thank you. All right, let's talk about the Nintendo Direct for a little bit here. We got kind of this not all third party, but kind of publishing partner direct from Nintendo. And there's some games to call out here. I just put some of them in our list here. I don't know if there's anything else that jumps up, but I wanted to pass it to Hogue right away because I think his favorite thing is back, which is Square Enix weird titles. And sir, we have the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tale.
We sure do. It's not just Square Enix, by the way. Square Enix has its own history of weird titles, but Team Asano inside Square Enix that made Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, Various Day Life, and now the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, just have to be stopped. This is an absolute terroristic attack on the titles of video games. And the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales is this team's take on using the HD 2D format. So if you don't know, that's the branding that Square uses to describe how things like Octopath Traveler and the Dragon Quest remakes look. And they're bringing that to an action-adventure format. So the Adventures of Elliot as a title makes a little bit more sense if you think to yourself, okay, what Square's trying to do is evoke the Legend of Zelda. And so they've tried to come up with a phrase that has a similar kind of cadence. And their selection was, instead of the Legend of Zelda, the Adventures of Elliot. And you say to yourself, well, Elliot doesn't have the same kind of magic, legendarium kind of feel as the name Zelda, because we don't see that very often. You're not wrong. And yet, the Adventures of Elliot is the name. I played this demo. They dropped a demo. The way this team likes to operate is they shadow drop a demo. They get feedback for a couple months. You see the feedback response in a blog post like 9 or 10 months from now, and they make some changes to that demo. So I don't want to treat it too harshly, but this one is substantially more rough to me than when Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy did this same thing in the past. Those games felt more finished. They felt more polished than this one. I don't think it's bad, but the graphics aren't quite there yet. They're trying to do HD 2D in a new kind of format. and the overall adventuring of the game as a Zelda alike is not terribly innovative or interesting to me. I know a lot of people are reacting very well to this. I think HD 2D continues to win people over. It always looks kind of more interesting than you're expecting, but the actual game is not there yet. And my guess is they probably know that. Like, some of the balancing is off. It's too easy and parts too hard in others. And you can just resurrect yourself with 20 gold coins whenever you want, so there's really no risk of death at any time. It just doesn't work as a game right this second. But it was an interesting announcement. I am happy to see this team coming back. I, of course, kind of wish they were making something more along the lines of what I like Triangle Strategy or Octopath Traveler. But this could be cool in the long term, the medium term, really. It's not so cool right now. That said, if it interests you, the demo is available for free. Check it out, and you can tell me I'm wrong in the comments, just like I asked for it before. But this was the second to last announcement of the Nintendo Direct. This Nintendo Direct was good in parts and tortured in others. This was a partner showcase, so it was not Nintendo itself talking about the games that are on their system. And as we've talked about with respect to the Switch 2 in the past, Nintendo wants to show off that there's much more third-party support of this system because they're closer in technological capability to the current generation. They are not there. They're much closer to like a really strong PlayStation 4 than they are PlayStation 5, as an example. And you can see that in some of the kind of trailers and footage that some of these games put out there. There's a Star Wars Outlaws trailer that is for Switch 2. That was my game of the year last year. I love Star Wars Outlaws. You can tell as soon as they show it that it is what looks like the equivalent of low settings on your PC for this particular game. And that's fine for being able to take Outlaws with you, but it doesn't show off very well for a game that's already a year old. And Nintendo has that problem. They will always have that problem as long as they run kind of a half a generation or more behind. But it's only going to get worse from here. So I'd kind of hoped for at least 1 year or even a half year of these showcases to kind of look normal-ish for what I'm otherwise experiencing in my other platforms. That hasn't happened. The Switch 2 partner showcase has been a little bit less impressive than I would have hoped. And most of the showcase that they actually showed us was things like FIFA and Madden and things that you're not getting up out of bed to play your Switch 2 for anyway. That if you love Madden, you're probably playing it on your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, you're excited about Madden.
Goated.
Okay. So this show was odd. But as somebody that loves Japanese role-playing games, that is one of the genres that the Switch really excels in. It started out with a tremendous announcement, I thought, and that actually carried it for about half the runtime for me, personally. And that was Monster Hunter Stories 3. The Monster Hunter Stories franchise, I think, is actually one of the big success stories from Capcom. Monster Hunter as a Prime series is obviously one of their biggest success stories, but they have made a nice little offshoot series now of little Pokemon rock, paper, scissors RPGs that went from essentially being a kiddie RPG in Monster Hunter Stories 1 to a kind of mid-range, not so high-end RPG in Monster Hunter Stories 2, both of which are good. And then this one looks absolutely fantastic. It's the highest end graphics for this series ever, and appears to be a more adult take on the storytelling of this series. I am so impressed by them spinning this off into something that works as well as it does. I'm so impressed by them putting more money and resources into it for Monster Hunter Stories 3. But as part of that trailer, it did have the number 2026 on it, so it's not anytime soon for that particular game. The last announcement of this show, which is ostensibly the most exciting for someone like me, which is an Octopath Traveler prequel game called Octopath Traveler 0. And I never liked the Zero kind of conception, even though the Zeros are often games that I like the best in the series, Yakuza 0 being the prime example. I followed up on this game after they had this announcement because I love Octopath Traveler. And this is some kind of full-priced reboot of the gacha game that was in the Octopath Traveler franchise that was available on mobile. Doesn't make it impossible to pull off, but it does make it a big question mark as to whether or not this is actually kind of a real project for someone that loves Japanese role-playing games. So that one at least got kind of put in the drawer for me as to being just outright excited for its December release date. And so the overall show here is like things that I'm excited about. I adore my Switch 2, but not quite enough to hang your hat on. And I don't blame anybody who got to the end of that show and said that was the most disappointing direct ever. Because you just can't get out of bed for Madden and FIFA and Pac-Man World 2 Remake #2. Like, you just can't. This is not getting you excited about your Switch. It just isn't. So that's my overall 30,000 foot take on the show. But anybody else got anything?
No, it didn't do much for me. I mean, it's just not where I play in the game space. Typically, these games aren't my thing. So Adventures of Elliot is 2026 as well, just a generic 2026, as is Monster Hunter Stories 3. Octopath Traveler 0 is December 4th. So yeah, to your point, we'll see if that one actually delivers. They did announce Once Upon a Katamari for October 24th, which is bringing that old IP back. We'll see if that's if that kind of lives up for the people who love that franchise, if it plays in that space.
Mrs. Hogue loves Katamari Damacy. She does.
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't know whether
So
that'll be worth getting or not.
We'll see.
They're hit or miss, that series, but when they hit, they're awesome.
Cool. And then Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Again, not my type of game. That is labeled as just this winter. So that'll be sometime.
Bro. Gotta imprison.
They said,
know why
I believe,
there's imprisonment, because it's a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. You know what the imprisonment is all about.
I love a good imprisonment.
Just in general?
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, to your point, it was, they said it was a partner showcase, so it's not surprising. It's a lot of third parties. But clearly, to your point, they want to highlight that, hey, these games that weren't coming to the Switch previously, kind of like they did with Cyberpunk at the launch of the Switch 2, are coming to the Switch 2, right? Star Wars. They announced the release date for Chronos, which out of everything on this list is probably the thing I'm most excited for, because that's my space.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to be so soon, September 5th. I thought that was a late October game at best.
Chronos looks cool. I'm not fully on board with Bloober Team just yet.
Yeah, I know. You're not a Bloober guy.
I tried with Silent Hill 2. I think that's their best game, but it still has a number of things that make me unhappy.
I'm just excited to play through Plants vs. Zombies again on my Switch.
Are you? What happened to the street, man? Why did they take the street away? Was that licensed to someone else?
The street?
The street. The zombies come from the street to attack the suburb, and now they come out of a bush. That's super weird for a game called Plants vs. Zombies. Why are the zombies coming out of a bush?
I don't think I would have ever have thought about that.
I honestly don't.
This is you got to watch a show with me at some point, because you're just like, no, you can't mix the plants and the zombies. EA, what are you doing?
Well, they do come out of a bush. That's weird,
right? It's anathema to the entire concept.
I wonder if it's because it makes it more difficult because you can't see them coming from farther away.
There's any number of things you could have picked that were not based on plant life.
They're coming out of the bushes. That is weird.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway,
I'm glad you agree with me on this, Travis.
I mean,
at bare minimum, it's weird.
I didn't even really look at the trailer. I just looked at the recap afterward, and I was like, "Oh, Plants vs. Zombies. I'll play that." But yeah, this is making me sad.
Yeah, but the show, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. It didn't do anything crazy for me. It's fine. Whatever. So I'll play Chronos on September 5th. Won't be playing it on my Switch too, but I'm glad we got the release date.
No, it looked like a PlayStation game to me, but yes, Chronos looked cool.
Yeah. I am excited that Borderlands 4 is coming. It's coming a month after release or 3 weeks after the other platforms. But
do you find that strange at all? That it has a different release date for the Switch 2? Like it's good. It's close enough to be in development, but not close enough to release simultaneous?
Maybe they just want to make sure it's polished up, because that's not even enough to really dev, right? 3-4 weeks. Maybe they're just making sure it's polished for that platform. That
was the policy of the Wii U era. Like every game that was multi-platform, big game, came like at least a month out after the other version. So
it's got to be some sort of optimization for like being able to play it mobilely. I don't know.
Sure
it's weird.
That. And I would expect that version to get delayed, depending on
we'll see. It has crossplay, which is all I care about. So now I can play Looter anywhere. So
now you can play Borderlands on your Switch. That's all you want.
Yeah, man. That's it. Other than that, I'll jump over to the THQ Nordic showcase, which had a few things in it. I think the big, obviously the biggest one for fans of this IP is Darksiders 4, was officially announced from Gunfire Games. And according to what I read this morning, and I am not the Darksiders guy, so feel free to correct me, they've said that this is actually a sequel to Darksiders 1. Like it's going to take the story post DS1.
Yeah, they
I don't
can't
know what that
finish the
means.
thing. They can't finish it, or else they'd be out of Darksiders. But this is Gunfire again?
Yeah, Gunfire.
Awesome.
It is Gunfire.
Yeah, so the if you know about how Darksider 1 ends, Darksiders 1 seems to be the farthest along chronologically than all the other games, which sort of tell different stories and feature different horsemen. And then the end of 1 kind of implies a certain type of game that has to exist given the event. I'm trying to dance around a spoiler here, but
yeah, you're fine.
Spoiler from decades ago. The Armageddon starts.
But it's a game you can play. You can play that whole series. I think you can buy all the games for less than $20 right now. So you should.
Well,
play
people
these
may
games.
do that leading up to this. So
yeah, they've aged super well. I've played many of these games in recent years. I think but yeah, I'm excited for this one, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw a lot of hype for it. I know Darksiders is a kind of, there's that group that loves Darksiders. So it's cool to see. I'm glad that it's
the lights on at Gunfire Games. So
there you go.
That's their cash cow.
One of the other ones that looked really cool, which I thought caught people's attention, is Fate Keeper, which is a first-person fantasy RPG. So obviously, it just feels like in the social space, whenever there's a first-person fantasy RPG, it says, "Oh, it's a Skyrim." Well, yeah, maybe not really, right? So the preview
nobody
trailer
say it's a Daggerfall.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I think for obvious reasons, but it's about a 3-minute trailer. It does look cool. It's hitting early access on PC only this winter. I think probably for good reason. I mean, first person fantasy RPG, I would argue, is probably difficult to do really well. It needs depth, it needs systems, it needs exploration. And so I don't know all the details behind the development of this one or where it is, but pretty cool. It's going to be in early access. I hope that it goes well out of the gate and it turns into something neat. But if you haven't watched that trailer, I would check it out. It does look very cool. Fate Keeper.
Sick. Also, new studio.
Is it a new studio?
Yeah, they've not done anything. The developer. I mean, obviously it's THQ, so it's probably an amalgamation of like other people, but it is a brand new studio. Yeah.
Okay. We got the latest trailer for Reanimal. So just a reminder for anyone who may not have listened to us on this one before, this is Tarsier Studios, which did Little Nightmares 1 and 2. And then they had the split with the IP. So Supermassive is doing Little Nightmares 3 later this fall. Tarsier Studios is going on to do Reanimal, which got a release window of the first quarter of 2026. So it'll come early next year at some point. But this continues to look amazing to me. I love these games. So I'm pumped for this one. These
trailers are creepy.
Yes, they are, which I love, of course. So looks good.
You're creepy.
Also fair. Titan Quest 2 going into early access on PC about like 94 years after the first Titan Quest released. So kind of an odd one.
Has it really been that long?
I think maybe 92. I'm exaggerating. Not 94, but it looks good, honestly. And from what I've seen of people kind of talking about the hype for this one, if you're in that ARPG world, it looks good. It's been talked about for a little while. It is kind of confusing. When did the first Titan Quest release? It's been a long time.
Let's look that up. Yeah.
Jokes aside.
Let's see. This is in early access right now, right?
It is. It's early access for about a year or more.
Yeah. Titan Quest
1 is 2006, so it's been almost 20 years.
There you go. So Titan Quest
2006,
2.
I was like 12 years old or something. What do you guys think about that?
I think you're a young whippersnapper.
Hell yeah.
Enjoy your youth
through the night.
I'm not that useful anymore, to be honest. I've aged on the show. You can really see it episode to episode.
Episode to episode.
Do a time lapse of your first episode to now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's out now. It's early access. I think it's $30. I think it's on sale on Steam if you want to play it. Like 20% off because it's in early access and they just had their showcase sale. So, but it looks good. I may actually check it out because I love ARPGs. So, I never played the first one, or maybe I did very briefly.
Yeah, I remember Titan Quest when it came out, thinking that it was essentially a Diablo 2 clone.
Right.
Like that's what it was based on. It had the same kind of graphical styling. But Titan Quest became one of my favorite ARPGs over a length of time. They did the remaster, And
there's a bunch of it. Yeah,
I love
in the
Greek
past 20 years.
mythology, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, it looks cool. So check that out. They also talked about Recfest 2. So this has been kind of in development for a long time now. 1.0 is what they're working towards. It is in early access as well, but it looks very cool. Recfest.
You guys like the first Recfest?
I loved it. Once they got
fun.
it kind of polished up and tuned and everything, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I like demolition derby stuff. Like
me too.
What was that arena game where obviously not the big one, but there was I think it was an Xbox Live Arcade game where you were in cars and you just had to smash into each other and see who. I think this was 360 era. I know I'm describing this terribly.
I surely don't know, Travis.
It is ringing a bell. Anyone
know?
I
just remember having so much fun. Like one of the summer arcade games was like some demolition derby game where you're just smashing into each other and it was like elimination style.
I played
not
demolition
Twisted
derby
Metal,
on my
obviously.
PlayStation.
Yeah. Back
Mayhem?
in the day. Oh, is that it? That might be it.
Mayhem 3D. I just Googled real quick. I don't know if anyone else knows. No, it's not Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal was a combat
Definitely
game.
not Twisted Metal. I would have known that one for sure. Those games are also good, but that series in general is kind of hit or miss for me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
Mayhem was demolition derby style game, 3D gameplay on Xbox 360 and PS3.
That sounds right.
Might have been, yeah. So, but anyway, Recfest 2 looks really cool. The physics look pretty damn impressive. So I hope it hits because it'll be a fun one to play. So, well, anything else on THQ or Nintendo you want to touch on?
Nope. I was excited about Titan Quest 2. That was my takeaway from that.
I'm debating installing it, buying it for early access on my gaming laptop to take on the trip with me because I got a very long flight.
Be buying Titan Quest 2.
Okay, I'll think about it. Anyway, that'll wrap up the showcase. But yeah, I think the last thing I wanted to comment on just quickly, continued conversation, Hogue, around the ongoing nonsense with Steam and MasterCard and Visa and kind of the payment options there. You did a video on it. We talked about last week. It's done very well for you.
Yep,
the
it's
conversation,
still very popular, unfortunately.
Yeah, everything's still going on with it. So what's the latest that you want to kind of just call out?
Yeah, I think I'm likely to do a follow-up video in virtual legality, depending on how my windows of time work out this week. But essentially, both Visa and MasterCard have given certain indications that they are getting a lot of phone calls or notes or what have you, and are not loving their involvement in the gaming industry at this point in time. MasterCard went so far as to put out a statement, which, if you can speak corporatese at all, doesn't deny much of anything, but was reported on in various places as being much more a denial than it actually was. Then at least a spokesperson, if not an anonymous source from Steam, appears to have given a quote to Kotaku that says that despite MasterCard saying that they didn't check anything and didn't cause any of this, the financing sources, the payment processor pieces of information that Steam got, indicated that they were being told that there was a problem with a MasterCard policies and procedures rule. And so there's a whole bunch of things to untangle, but suffice it to say, Visa, MasterCard, and payment processors in general are continuing their kind of crusade against the Steams and itch.ios of the world. We've seen other platforms like Good Old Games kind of take up the sword and try to talk about these things out there in the world. This is still an area where I feel it's of extreme importance, if you like media or art at all, to speak out against infrastructure providers like payment processors getting into the transaction process between what you can do with your money and what you can buy and what people can sell to you. This is not a circumstance where Steam doesn't want to sell these things. But like all kind of freedom of expression discussion points, this is still an icky place to try to defend. So I know that people aren't out there excited about talking about sex games and how Visa and MasterCards need to get their hands off their sex games and whatnot. So I get that. But I think it is an important point of inflection in the digital marketplace as it stands today, and that neither MasterCard nor Visa nor realistically Steam or itch should be let off the hook for allowing this kind of slow slide into not being able to buy what you want to buy, not being able to sell what you want to sell, all because a digital infrastructure provider somewhere in the world says you can't spend your money on that without their say so. So that's likely to be a follow-up virtual legality video, I think, in the near future. That's where it stands right now. There's still a lot of noise that is being helped by the payment processors going out there and essentially denying specifics about what they're doing when it's clear that they are applying pressure in certain ways to these platforms.
Yep, all fair. A lot of conversation on our Discord about that as well. I think, I generally speaking, I agree with you. So I know you'll keep us up to date. If you do a video on it, obviously we'll share that out. But yeah, I think that'll wrap us up for this week. I think the big thing we want to call out is we're getting ready to go on vacation. Well, at least two of us are. Yeah, Travis doesn't take vacation. He's weird. But
cool.
Travis just works from new locations. That's all he
does. I'm cool. I don't take vacations. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a trip with Big Trip, and Hoag's going on a trip as well. So we are actually going to be gone, live show anyway, for the next 2 Sundays. We will be back on, what did we say that is? The 24th? We'll be back on the 24th. We will not be here the next 2 Sundays. However, we did pre-record. Well, see, we weren't even going to use that word, but it's out there now. We did pre-record a couple segments that I'm editing together, and we will put up on both channels like usual the next 2 weeks. So each of the next 2 Sundays, there will be little extras, if you will, special episodes with the 3 of us on a variety of topics that we get into. So hope you enjoy those. Hope you still stop in, check them out, do the usual stuff to support the channel. And then we will be back on the 24th. Obviously, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about by the time we come back. And, maybe we'll give you your 3-hour show when we come back. We'll see.
It does happen when we go away.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'll be filling in the episodes with my solo project, the Tie Guy Travis experience.
If you're excited about Travis's takes on Anakin Skywalker and his governing philosophies, you should not miss any of our free shows.
I forgot about that. Hey, man, whatever you got to do to hit it, whatever it takes.
Yeah, thank you, everyone who tunes in and hangs out. It's going to be a good time, and we'll come back refreshed and ready to talk about the insane fall lineup that we're going to come back to. That kicks off pretty much in late August, like we said. So, and we'll have Mafia when we get back as well. So,
yay!
It's a good period to miss, by the way, because August is pretty dead for me. Review.
No, it works out. Like, yeah, I'm missing the Battlefield betas, which is crushing my soul. But other than that,
wherever you go.
I don't have any witty comeback for that, honestly. So on the SG side, like I said, please check out Alex's article on Death Stranding 2. I'd appreciate you giving that a look. It's up. It's worth reading. And then on our channel side, real quick, we did put up a video. It's the last thing we recorded at Summer Game Fest. It's a quick interview with the exec producer of Blippo Plus, which is a very, very unique gaming, I use quotes, gaming related thing. It began as a cable TV viewing thing on the Playdate of all things that is now coming to the Switch and Steam. And it's basically coded like a game, but it's as if you were going back through old cable TV with actual shows and scripts as if you're watching them like a weekly show. Very, very unique concept. It was in Day of the Devs last year. We caught up with the exec producer at Summer Game Fest and just put that up for awareness. That's on the channel if you want to check it out. It's only a few minutes long, but you can check that out. Hoag, I'll pass to you first this week.
Yeah, well, I've been keeping up my cadence of actually making content for my channel. So that's exciting. Did a Hangouts and Headlines this week about American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney, and online discourse, which I think was a very good conversation. Please do check that out. And like I said, we'll probably do another virtual legality pretty soon about our favorite friends, the payment processors. So those are my wares.
Oh, thank you. I was gonna
Travis, show me your wares.
I have many wares this week, as you know. I reviewed 4 games since the last time we spoke. Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate, Tales of the Shire, The Lord of the Rings game, Grounded 2, and Wildgate. You can read all of those. Also, my preview of Killer Inn. I'll be working on some stuff while we're gone, but I'm looking forward to a slower month. Going to catch up on some games and excited to talk to y'all August 24th.
All right, I'm going to hold you to a Killer Inn code. That sounds crazy.
Oh, I'll get you one.
Yeah.
No worries. I got you.
I mean, we've joked for probably a couple years now about playing something, the three of us, like streaming a game. We really do.
It's my
need to do
bedtime. I know it's my bedtime that's the issue. I get it.
Maybe we could find like a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
That'd be fun.
Down.
Although in Killer Inn, we'd only be 3 of 24, but it'd still be
It'd
funny.
be 3 of 24, and there's no guarantee we'd be on the same team, which would kind of be funny.
That would even be funny. I'd just be hunting you guys down.
Guys, let's hang out together, and then one of us is a wolf, and it's like, I would get you guys.
Well, your description of that as the social element was what I love so much about playing those like Blood on the Clock Tower type games, which is like, no, I'm definitely on your side, not poisoning you in the night. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Good games.
Anyway, audience, you've been awesome. Thanks for the generosity today. Thanks for hanging out with us. Love doing the show every week. And yes, we are taking a few weeks off. Trust me, I think we need it, not from Bitcast, but from other things in life.
Yes,
so we'll be back. Yeah, just life, which I think we all can understand. So we'll be back on the 24th. Looking forward to it. And then we hit our stride with, oh, man, a hell of a fall lineup already. So pumped for it. But have a good couple weeks. I hope everyone enjoys the next few weeks of gaming and anything else that you're doing. Thank you, as always, and we will see you on August 24th. Until then.